Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1, find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2, stream it now. Miss Hour 3, download it for later. Miss Hour 4, well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Hang out with The Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out The Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there. Happy football season. At The Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com. Take the Next Round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store. Follow the Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, we'll get to the start of SEC basketball tomorrow, coming up a little bit later on, because national pundits are writing that the SEC is a basketball league now. Jalen Milroe's announcement in this first segment, we'll get to it, but we'll start with what we saw last night in the final of the quarterfinal playoff games, yesterday afternoon actually, where Notre Dame dominated Georgia. And my friends at The Athletic broke it down. I'd never taken the time to figure it out. It's simple math, though. But there are 3,600 seconds in a college football regulation game.
Okay.
In 54 seconds, Georgia lost the game 17 points. 54 seconds and the game is over with.
We talk about the middle eight. Obviously, Brandon Marcello and I do that show. Last 4 minutes the first half, first 4 minutes of the second half. A lot of coaches really believe that is one of the most critical parts of the game. And it was the middle one, basically, for Notre Dame. They scored 17 of the quickest points you will ever see scored.
Yeah, so, Georgia holds them to the Jeter 48-yard field goal, and then Georgia needs to take it to half at 6-3.
Yeah,
I know it's easy to say now.
But I was thinking it in the moment, weren't you?
Yeah,
were
because,
you like,
Notre Dame had pressured Stockton, pressured him the entire game, and look, you get out of there 6-3, you regroup, Notre Dame's going to get the ball. And after the strip sack, immediate play, it's a 10-point game. And then the Marshall transfer takes it to the house. And at that point, you're like, I don't think Georgia can come back from this.
That's where the game was so uncharacteristically lost for me. Because Kirby Smart is a Nick Saban guy. Saban and Smart play it by the book, play it by the vest. What are you going to do in those 33 seconds? And I told this to Brown last night when I was on the phone with him. I was like, when you took that time out to ice the kicker, if you're gonna do something offensively when you get the ball back after that kick, you want all 3 timeouts. You gave a timeout up when you iced the kicker before the field goal, 6-3, and now you're going to take the kick, and now you're going to try to do something with 2 timeouts instead of 3. You're sending mixed signals here.
Well,
if you're in your mind, you're going to do something offensively. You didn't get a great kick return. I mean, there was nothing there that indicated, let's go, go, go. That's a take the knee, go to the locker room moment right there all day long.
I even believe with Carson Beck, with only 2 timeouts, you take a knee.
Yeah, everybody. You take a knee right there. You're 6-3 with your backup quarterback. Game was moving too fast for him to start with for that whole team. I think the whole team underestimated how fast and physical Notre Dame was. And then you regroup at halftime saying, guys, it's only 6-3. And then you go out there and you maybe just kick it out of bounds or something. Just a crappy coverage coming out of the locker room, and the game's over at that point.
Yeah, it looked like Joshua Cribbs. Do you remember the old Bowling Green quarterback that ended up playing for the Browns for a while and was a great returner?
Yep.
That's what Jaden Harrison looked like, a guy that had transferred from Marshall, returned a couple of kicks last year. I mean, it's amazing when you got the resources. You basically can just go out and get a guy that's a returner and pay him NIL dollars.
A Marshall guy on the kick return for a touchdown. It was a Duke transfer that was at quarterback. It was a Duke transfer that did the strip sack. A lot of portal action last night for the Fighting Irish.
And if Dabo
was watching.
Yeah, Northwestern quarterback made a nice play for Notre Dame. Let's just – I know we got a lot of layers to this game. Let's call it like it is. This was the second worst team that Kirby Smart has had.
Only his first one was worse?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not gonna argue with that. I don't want to say that because people will think I'm not giving Notre Dame their flowers.
I hate that saying. You said the other day you hated that saying.
Wait,
I just threw it out.
Who says that?
It's weird people.
All the girls.
Yeah,
sure. So I got to give Notre Dame its props. They are a legitimate front seven. They have legitimate speed.
Well, they can win this thing now.
I like their physical. They have depth because you had some star players are getting hurt, and they just replaced them with players equal to them. So I want to give Notre Dame Marcus Freeman out-coached Kirby Smart.
That's what is the most concerning thing to me if I'm a Georgia fan. I know I've got an elite coach, but Marcus Freeman flat out coached
He did. In the 4th and 1, though, I just don't get it. They weren't going to snap it.
I know, but that's just great coaching by Marcus Freeman. That was spectacular coaching on his part. He gets Georgia in an uncomfortable situation where your mind, you've run off the field. Now I got to run back on the field. my mind is racing. That's exactly why you jumped off sides. I mean, you're not focused because I've lost my focus. That's the whole purpose of that play. I've run off the field. Whew. All right, we held it. Come back. Defense back on the field. So now I've lost my focus. I'm hurried to get out there. That's when you make mistakes. It's when you're rushing and you're not focused. That's right.
And now my heart's beating so fast. They give the hard count and I fire.
Such an incredible job of coaching by Marcus Freeman to have the organization, first of all, to pull that off, to get 11 guys to run off as fast as they did and have 11 to run back on as fast as they did. That's just incredible.
I said it yesterday. I like Marcus Freeman a lot. I didn't know what to think about him in a big game.
Oh, he delivered.
Yeah. Look, he's 13-5 against ranked teams. He's 7-0 this year against ranked teams. He's in a semifinal. I think he's a slight favorite right now, too, over Penn State.
I'd have to pull it up.
That's what I would list it at.
1.5 was the opening line last night when I saw it.
Yeah. He's got a chance to win a national championship. He looks the part. He's always looked the part from the interim time against Iowa State on the sideline. Future is bright for Notre Dame. And I got to say this. I know I'm in the minority. I kind of love the fact that we're in a semifinal. We're down to the final 4 teams, and there's not an SEC team. I'm not counting Texas. Texas ain't an SEC team.
Okay. They're getting that jet.
They hadn't beaten anybody this year. They're not really an SEC team.
So why do you like that?
I just think it's kind of neat.
Well, we had it last year. I mean, not the Final Four, but the championship game.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it just shows you we've got more balance in college football.
Well, it does show you that there's more parity. It's not a one-conference game as it has appeared to be for quite a while now.
SEC's gotten a little too cocky.
Yeah, I don't want to take you guys into a lab, but probably need to wait a year or two before you start saying that it's changed. I mean, we've had Florida State win a national championship. Who'd they beat in that game? It was Oregon in 2013?
No, they beat Auburn. You were there.
Yeah, that's right. I was at that one. Yeah. Who beat Oregon? Ohio State, 2014. Yeah. Ohio State beat Oregon in that game. So that was 2 years without an SEC championship. We had some Clemson dominance there. Michigan won it last year. It takes a little bit of a time for Rome to burn, right?
No, I get that. I'm just saying.
You guys can sit over there playing your fiddles and think there are flames rising in the background, but Rome's not dead yet.
No, I just think it's interesting, though. The SEC is trying to control this whole thing, and they don't even have anybody fighting in it.
Now they're going to argue. They're going to argue they have Texas fighting in it. You're going to be the one that's arguing that Texas.
God, Texas 4th and 13, man. It would have been so good if Arizona State could have converted that.
Oh no, it wouldn't. You'd have to watch Ohio State and Arizona State. You don't want to watch that game. You know Ohio State. Texas is going to be a better game.
True for true blue bloods, though.
Oh, it is. No, this is when you design a college football playoff. You pray that your Final Four has this type of team in it.
Can you imagine the ratings on this thing?
Oh, it's going to be huge. Yeah, it's going to be huge.
You say that. It'll be big, but it's Thursday and Friday night.
Well, those.
I mean, I don't have plans. Do you?
Yeah, I don't. No,
I think they'll get massive numbers. You don't think Notre Dame, Penn State on a Thursday night will get a massive number?
Yeah, okay, now do me the Friday night game. Ohio
State, Texas.
Yeah. And let's see. Do we not have a deep freeze throughout the country?
Yeah, that's going to help, by the way.
That could help. That could help.
And 9th and 10th is when they're talking about all that crap hitting.
We'll talk about the ratings and attendance and all that coming up in a bigger topic a little bit later on. Let's continue to jump in this game a little bit, being brought to you today by Dr. B, one of our great sponsors up here, who will take us into the post-game locker room to hear what Kirby Smart and Marcus Freeman had to say after Notre Dame's dominating performance to eliminate the SEC champions.
I saw this thing. You have those random things that just jump up on your Instagram. Mm-hmm. It was all these celebrities that have reconstructive procedures for their hair.
Oh, wow.
And I don't even know if half of them are true, but, does these deep dives on what this celebrity would look like if he hadn't gotten the reconstructive procedure done. Anyway, our man here locally is Dr. B. He is the guy that can grow the hair back. He can maintain for you. I did the non-invasive treatment last night, 30 minutes on the couch. I do it 3 times each and every week. Brown's doing it as well. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. B for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training and genetic testing, to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. Beckenstein today, 205-319-0316. That's 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net.
All right, let's go first to that 4th and 11 play, a 4th and 1 play where they run 11 off the field and 11 on the field. Give me cut 2 first and then cut 4. We'll get Kirby Smart's perspective here because Kirby was saying that that's not legal to run 11 off and on. And he was, at one point when he was through arguing that, after the play, I mean, it was a couple of plays later, I promise you, I think he turned to a staff member, and I think I read his lips, "Go get me the rule book."
Was it the kid that almost made the tackle on the
It
sideline?
wasn't. I mean,
it
save, it's a bigger topic. Save that, yeah. Here's Kirby Smart on the 4th and 1 where Notre Dame subbed all 11 players quickly.
The 4th and 1 late in the football game, they run the punt team off. Was there a thought to call a timeout there? I know you guys are down.
Yeah, didn't want to because they were going. That's what they wanted. They wanted us to burn a timeout there and try to do it, and then we subbed. So it's really unfortunate because I've been told by our head of officials in the SEC that you can't do that. You can't run 11 on 11 off. We did it in 2017 against Tennessee. We've carried that. We practiced that and rep that because teams try to do it, and we were told by officials you could not do that. And so we were trying to say you couldn't do it. We got our defense out there. We were fine. I mean, I would have gone for it if I was them. So I don't think they were planning on going for it. They were going to hard count us, and we prepare for that. We do it every week, and we jumped off sides, But we also were told you couldn't do that in our league.
So that's not the reason they jumped off sides, though. They jumped off sides because, to Lance's point, you're just not disciplined enough or whatever. You weren't paying attention. I don't understand what he's saying. I mean, I don't doubt that Kirby has been told that, but anytime you punt, you run 11 offensive players off and 11 special teams players on for the most part.
Yeah. For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
I never knew that it was illegal. I don't know if it is as I sit here today. I'm shocked that perceived greatest coach left in the game, who I assume knows the rule book, thinks it's illegal.
I can't believe he just said he would have gone for it. There's no chance you go for it.
I think in that situation when you caught everyone scrambling and like that.
Oh, yeah. That. I thought the context I thought was I would have gone for it to begin with.
No.
I agree with.
We run them on, and we're scrambling to substitute. I would have gone on the side.
I agree with what he's saying. Notre Dame wanted them to burn a timeout because Georgia had to have timeouts at that point. They're down 2 scores.
Yeah, because at that point they had 2 timeouts, right?
That's right, and the clock is ticking, so they're going to need those timeouts. And I think that was really ultimately what Notre Dame wanted, unless they jump. And then when they jump, you got a free play and a automatic first down, so run it.
I assume it's legal, and it's a brilliant coaching move by Marcus Freeman. Tyler, if you'll give me cut number 4, this is Marcus Freeman and Riley Leonard both talking on that 4th and 1 and how they rep it, and they're just ready to roll with this play. It's something that they've worked on many times.
That situation that happened in the 4th quarter was something we practiced, and I think the performance is a reflection of that. We had a lot of confidence in the ability to be able to do that, and we had a plan, and that's the aggressiveness in terms of our preparation that I want our program to have, and again, out there when it matters the most. And so that's got to be one of our edges, right, is that we are going to be an aggressive group and not fear making mistakes, not fear, hey, it didn't go your way. We went for it on 4th and 1. We didn't execute. Okay, here we go, defense, and they got to stop. And so that's how I want this group to attack our preparation and attack performance when we have the opportunity.
Real quick, he's being humble. That was completely his play, and we were going to do it a different way like 2 days ago. And then he flipped it, and we executed it that way, and it worked.
It's our
so
play.
He's being humble all throughout the year. All right, yeah, you know this guy. But I'll say it for him. Great call, great execution.
But it's hard not to like Marcus Freeman.
I know. He's 38 years old. I mean, 40 under 40. If you took 40 coaches under the age of 40 that have all this potential, I know Sean McVay would be number 1.
Of course he would.
He's still under 40?
Oh, yeah.
By the way, I like that hoodie. Is that new hoodie you were telling us about? That's a good-looking hoodie.
Pretty
Did you
cool,
wear that to the Jets game? So you're 1-0 in that thing?
Yep. Appreciate it.
Who's Kenny Washington?
It's Crazy Legs.
Well, why are you honoring him, I guess I'm asking?
I really don't know. It was
that's a good-looking hoodie.
Thanks.
But 40 under 40, definitely he's in there. I mean,
Riley Leonard is that he's still like a 16-year-old. All this excitement.
I know. That guy sticks his nose in there, though. That dive play he made for the first down, dang.
But I mean, Marcus Freeman took a job. Look, it's a great job, but it was one of those jobs that, okay, you're going to be top 10, top 15. You're never going to be able to win a championship. It's one of the reasons that Brian Kelly left, right? He went to LSU where he could win a championship.
How's that working out?
And now, ironically, I don't know how you guys feel. Eileen, Notre Dame beats Penn State.
I do too. I mean, he left because he wanted to get talent, the way I perceived it, that could match up with the SEC when you got to the playoffs. All of a sudden, the guy that took over for him has brought in talent that was as physical or more physical than Georgia, as fast or faster than Georgia, beat Georgia. I would assume if it was Texas on the other side, they would have been equal in physicality and speed as Texas. If it was Tennessee, if it was Alabama, I'm sure that would have looked the same as it looked last night, speed-wise and physical-wise. So I think, Brian Kelly left for the grass that is greener on the other side of the fence when he probably should have just worked a little harder at Notre Dame, or maybe waited on this NIL era to come by where he could have brought in players that were maybe Freeman's a better evaluation of talent. I don't know, but more physical. He wanted more physical players and faster players that can compete with the SEC. So he went to LSU in the SEC to get those players. By the way, those players are now in South Bend. They look just like an SEC team or a great Big Ten team.
What I hope doesn't happen is Marcus Freeman gets wooed by all these NFL teams. Stay put.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'd like to see him in the college game.
Yeah.
I like him. But he's a good coach, and I don't know if the NFL would come after him or not, if the Bears or somebody like that would want to hire him. It's just it continues to be wild to me that if Clark Lee had said, you know what, I know what Vanderbilt is. I'm not going to go struggle to rebuild that. I'm gonna buy my time. Marcus Freeman's not even coach of that game yesterday. It's just so wild how those types of decisions have so many ripple effects.
Well, I would just go back to earlier this year after the Northern Illinois loss. There were people that were wondering whether or not Marcus Freeman would survive at Notre Dame. I mean, he'd lost to Northern Illinois. He'd lost to Marshall.
And I stupidly said they're out of the playoffs. I mean, I thought that loss knocked them out of the playoffs because I didn't think there was any way if you're going to lose to Northern Illinois, you're going to win out the rest of that schedule.
I do think there's a question to be asked. How did that team with that talent lose to Northern Illinois? I guess you can just have bad days and things like that.
Yeah, I guess
it's college football now.
The world we live in, yeah.
I mean, it's college football.
But I mean,
now.
this team is red hot right now, and the defense is absolutely legitimate.
Okay, one more from Kirby Smart, cut one, if we can, and because I have not seen this Kirby Smart before, even after Alabama losses. I have not seen this Kirby Smart before. Here's Kirby Smart on just summing up the loss.
They did a really good job. They play really hard, physical, brand of football. So do we. Those two mirror each other. I think both defenses played well, and we turned the ball over, and they didn't. And they gave us problems in the pass game with the sack and the sack fumble. So give them a lot of credit. That takes nothing away from these men on the stage and the seniors that are part of this class. I mean, absolutely incredible. I just told them what they went through this year and what they played and how they played, the resiliency, the injuries that we've had, and to win an SEC championship, which I have so much respect for our conference, and to win some of the comeback games they won and never quit, even in this game, never quit. That's the attitude you got to have to get better as a football program.
Yeah, he's in that whole news conference, he was complimentary of these seniors, but he kept going back to just how tough of the road it's been for him. It was a different road for Georgia because we didn't have divisions anymore, and it took its toll on this team.
It did, but I'll say this, man, like for a guy that recruits at the highest of high levels, you have got to find some skill that's not going to drop footballs and some skills that actually guys that can take a game over. Georgia doesn't have that. I can't really. So Ladd McConkey and Brock Bowers were those guys. But outside of that, I mean, they've done it with dominant defenses and really good heady quarterback play.
And by the way, you stumbled into Ladd McConkey probably. You never
probably
thought, when you recruited him, you never thought he was going to be.
You didn't think he was an NFL receiver.
Yeah. And you heard on the broadcast yesterday, I think it was on the broadcast, where they were talking about Marcus Freeman said this is the best group of tight ends he's faced. They're all good, but they're not Brock Bowers. Like, Georgia's got to find more playmakers. They absolutely have to.
I don't want to throw dirt on Mike Bobo, but it does seem like they could have used those great tight ends a little bit more with the inefficiencies they had at the offense.
Like, how many catches did Delp have yesterday? I only remember one.
Yeah, one great one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Delp just really hasn't been involved this year like he, needs to be involved. And you would have thought with Gunnar Stockton, his roommate, I don't know how many times we were told that, would probably get some more touches. Etienne's good. I think Frazier's got a lot of potential out of the backfield, but Dylan Bell and Arian Smith, those guys can't catch.
I mean, by the way, I didn't think Stockton played that bad. I don't know about you guys.
No, I didn't either.
No, I don't think that was your issue.
If you would have told me,
like, I'm not sure they win that game with Beck playing.
If you tell me Stockton is 20 of 32, 234, a touchdown, and he doesn't throw any picks, and then on the other side, Jeremiah Love, who was hurt, 6 carries, 19 yards, I'd have been like, Georgia wins the game.
Yeah, and I don't think Riley Leonard's numbers blow you away. I don't think
they never do.
I don't think any of the Notre Dame offensive numbers blow you away. It was, I think Carson Beck fumbles the ball like Stockton does on that strip sack. And Carson Beck doesn't play on special teams on that kick return to start the second half. And Carson Beck doesn't keep walk-on backup DBs running into officials on the sidelines. Let's get to that after you tell us about A+ there, Brownie.
A+, bathandkitchen.com. That's going to be the website you're going to want to go to here, A+, bathandkitchen.com. That's going to be my guy, Brad Bell. That is who redid the master bath in the Brown home. Basically, it came time to redo our master bathroom. It wasn't awful, but it's not what we wanted. It was lighter. It was kind of dated, not exactly as functional as we wanted. We brought in Brad and gave him our vision. We wanted a little bit darker. We wanted more updated. He's like, all right, I got you, man. And he did it exactly to our vision, and we are so glad we used him. Jennifer found him after scouring the internet looking for the right person for the job. She read a bunch of reviews, talked to contractors, people that use certain contractors. She decided Brad was the guy for the job. Master bath kitchen and master bedroom closets is what he specializes in. Here's his phone number. Shoot him a text if you want him to come over and quote a job for you. 205-422-1758. That's 205-422-1758. Or if you just want to see more of his work, A+bathandkitchen.com. That is A+bathandkitchen.com.
Okay, so our play down to the 11-yard line for Georgia, but Parker Jones, was that Spider-Man's name? Parker Jones?
No.
Peter Parker. Would have been a great name. Would have been
Parker
a great
Jones?
Parker Jones, number 39. They had his name ready to call out really quickly. Steps into the white area, bump into the officials. I have never, and here's a picture of what happened. I have never, ever seen a 15-yard penalty for sideline interference before without there being a sideline warning.
It's got to be a warning.
It happened in the Alabama game.
And then I saw it happen in the Alabama game. And then it happens again in this game, and I'm like, what's happening? And I'm going to be flat honest with you. I thought it happened in the Alabama game because it was a female official.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, okay, she's just not on the football field a lot. She's enforcing this rule a little too strict. Let's don't be black and
For the
white
record,
here.
Dunaway saying
it was Jim that said it.
That's why I said it. That's
right.
why I said it. I was like, I didn't know we had all these female officials in college football.
What do they know about football?
But I mean, she gets bumped on the sidelines and shows a flag. I was like, okay, I'm going to put that on the female official here. But here we got a grown-ass man running down there, bumps into a white kid who couldn't start for the ATOs at Georgia, and he's going to throw a flag there. I know it's about safety and you can't get out there, but I mean,
do it. It's got to be a sideline. No, it's got to be a sideline warning. I mean, that's an ego thing for this official.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
He got embarrassed, caught up in the moment. You cannot flag that. And
you drop the flag, when they come over and talk to you, and they say, listen, let's just make that a sideline warning. Because Brown, wait, you said they didn't call the targeting on the Arizona State-Texas game because the officials didn't want to put themselves into the game at that point in the game, right?
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
Okay, that was a big – I really don't think Georgia maybe even scores a touchdown there. No guarantee, and there's no guarantee that Notre Dame doesn't go and win the game. But in that situation, I don't feel like as an official, I take that bump, I give them a warning, let somebody yell at the kid, and we call it a sideline warning. And don't back them up 15 yards.
Yeah, I actually think Georgia scores a touchdown.
I'm not sure they do.
Yeah, I mean, look.
I don't know if they do or not. They have momentum.
It's an unknown, but I'll tell you what, they weren't going to score a touchdown after the penalty.
Negative. I don't know, man. If the play is going and you're in the white and I'm the official chasing the play, trying to make the call, like if I miss a hold right there, you think Kirby Smart's going to jump my ass?
Yeah, well, then I'm going to tell Kirby. I said, well, you need to shut up because you keep 39 back and I'd be down there to make the play, Kirby.
I'm just saying we expect the officials to make the calls. He can't be making the call if some walk-on's got him tangled up in the white. I mean, that's the official spot right there.
Yeah.
So I really don't have a problem with the flag, honestly.
Yeah, it's a warning for me.
Yeah, I like the warning.
No, I don't have a problem with the flag. Like, if the play is going, I'm chasing the play. See, the thing with the Alabama thing, it was after the play. That's what is different with the Alabama-Michigan game. That was after the play. The play had ended.
Right.
The kid's knocked out of bounds. He's hurt. I don't know why the official was in such a hurry to get down there. She's in a hurry to get down there. Her and Freddie Roach get tangled up. She falls. She flags. Right? This was during the play. That's considerably different to me. You're in the white during the play.
It is very different.
Yeah.
The play has run past you. You shouldn't be out there. It's incorrect. He shouldn't be out there. Parker Jones should not be out there.
I mean, if I turn around and it's the head coach, I might let it go. But if it's some kid that doesn't even have pads on.
Yeah, well, the head coach gets the white. He gets
That's right. That's what I'm saying. If it's the head coach, I'm going to let it go. I'll give him a warning. He gets the white, but he can't interfere with me.
Yeah.
If it's an assistant coach during the play, and I know that in the moment,
No,
I might give it a warning.
The official, I don't know who he is. He was a poon.
Yeah.
No, he's just doing his job,
No,
man.
he caught one in the ribs. I guarantee if
he's just doing his job. You don't want people interfering with you doing your job.
If he doesn't catch one in the ribs and doesn't get embarrassed, he doesn't call it.
I mean, he threw the flag immediately.
No, he did not. I'm watching it right now. Look. After he holds his side, watch. He catches it right there.
He's reaching for the flag.
No.
He doesn't throw the flag until he marks the ball.
Yeah, he marks the ball and then he throws the flag.
Side like he got shot.
Oh, my God. I ran into this 150-pound holder.
Yeah. By the way, Parker Jones is never going to see the film.
What a freaking poon. Yeah. You can't make that call.
I feel sorry for the kid. I feel sorry.
It's a good call. The guy's just trying to do his job. Guy's in the way.
Probably doesn't matter anyway.
Nah. I mean, I don't know that they're going to score a touchdown there, but that was their best chance at doing it at that time.
Hey, didn't you guys think for a minute, I know James Sr. probably did, that Notre Dame would never be back on this stage?
I really did, Lance.
Their first New Year's Six bowl win in 31 years. And, I mean, Marcus Freeman was 7 last time Notre Dame won this big of a game.
Well, that's hard to believe. This big of a
well, he's 38, right?
No, I mean, I was saying this big of a game, not his age necessarily. But as I processed that in real time,
Notre Dame people are calling
last time they won it.
The Notre Dame people are calling it their biggest win since they won the national championship in 1988.
It's not the biggest game they have played in that time, but it's certainly the biggest game they've won.
I'll tell you,
I would agree.
Good for Ryan Day winning these last couple of games because you know who would be coming after. Because everybody's like, well, who would the guy be? Well, it would be your former linebacker, Marcus Freeman.
Yeah, I wonder if he'd take it. Yeah, probably so.
I think he would take it.
Yeah. All right, that's the game we saw last night. To the Jalen Milroe news in the next segment. Hemp Hill Services bring you Lance'sLock.com. Did you have a play on that game or Ole Miss last night?
I did not have. I wanted to play Ole Miss. I couldn't do it. It was like 90% of the money was on Ole Miss. So I had people that reached out. I was like, if I played it, I would play Ole Miss, but I'm staying away from it. I did have Georgia, which obviously was a loser. We had a winning night, though, because of basketball, though.
Yeah, good. Love basketball.
Another winning night. We had 16 total plays yesterday. Jump on board. Win with us at Lance'sLock.com. More winners today, always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. I've got them out and about today. I'm coming to check some things out. 205-229-2090. It is going to be absolutely freezing next week. You need to make sure the heating is ready to keep up with this changing weather. Whether it's in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train or hemphillservices.com.
Listen, I don't play a lot of totals, but when I'm under 45 and it's 0-0 after the first quarter, I almost lit a cigar. And then when they kick a field goal with 33 seconds left and it's 6-3, I think to myself, man, I can go ahead and cash this check.
There you go.
And then Kirby throws that pass, and then it's a touchdown before the half, and they return the kick to start the second half, and all of a sudden I'm doing the math. I said, either Notre Dame's just won this game or Georgia's going to come back and make this a contest, and it's going to go over. It was not an easy feeling there for the total of the under 45.
That was a complete under, though.
Yeah, all the way under. All right, Jalen Milroe, Tyler Booker, Jihaad Campbell, all to the NFL. No surprises there. But the Milroe reaction when we come back, and Brownie is telling me the word firing used on a member of the coaching staff at Alabama. We'll talk about what is up in Tuscaloosa when we come back right here on TNR.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, CoverCrimson.com and TheBarnAuburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or TheBarnAuburn.com. Sign up today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, CoverCrimson.com and TheBarnAuburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or TheBarnAuburn.com. Sign up today.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1? Find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2? Stream it now. Miss Hour 3? Download it for later. Miss Hour 4? Well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
All right, Brownie's got a little clarification on the 11 on, 11 off rule here. This rule update is brought to you by our friends at Woodhouse. Tell us about Woodhouse after we get this rule update, Brownie.
Just talking with some people in the officiating world during the break there, and I'm talking about people that officiate on the upper levels of football. This is not just random officials. If you run 11 on in college football, they have to run a play. So that's what Kirby is talking about, is you can't run 11 on, them not run a play, and then swap 11 and them run a play. Once that 11 comes on, if they go in a huddle, if they get in for whatever, once you swap out, they've got to run a play. Or something has to happen that resets the play clock, a penalty, a timeout, or something like that.
So they had planned on taking that snap or taking the penalty.
They were going to take a delay game.
I think they thought Georgia might burn a timeout right there. And
okay, but if Georgia doesn't, you got to have a plan.
So if Georgia had been coached up well enough to just stand there, and they ran those 11 on,
I can't promise you that the penalty would have been called, because I think once they swap off the 11, I think that's when the penalty should have been flagged.
Yeah, but I'm guessing Marcus Freeman had to have a plan at that point.
You would think,
like
right?
if they are statues, if they're not moving at all, either we've got to go for it, or we've got to take the 5-yard penalty.
We take a delay, we call a timeout, we go for it. One of the three.
Yeah,
but but Kirby is correct. By the letter of the law, that was a rules violation that was not called. That should have been a legal substitution, according to the people I have talked to.
Well, let me ask you, just so we're clarified for everybody: is the 11 coming on the punt team? That team has to run a play.
Yeah. Once you substitute the 11 for 11 like that, once they come on, they've got to run a play or something has to happen that resets the play clock, a penalty or a timeout.
What if I only run 10 on and one of my players?
I don't. I think the rule is once a player runs on and is either in formation or goes in a huddle, he's got to be part of the play.
Okay.
I think that's the way the rule is worded. That was a very quick description because we were coming back from a break, and I got the call late in the break there.
So once they leave and then Riley Leonard, the offense, came back on, if they were going to officiate it correctly, there was no way they could run a play at that point.
Yeah.
That the only way that they could be bailed out was going to be a Kirby Smart timeout.
That's right.
Or them jumping off sides.
Yeah. Which is why I think that's probably what Marcus Freeman thought would happen. I think Marcus Freeman probably thought once Kirby saw the wholesale substitution like that, hey, timeout, let's get set.
He's going to call a timeout.
That's before the penalty can even be flagged, he's going to call a timeout. Yeah.
Or they jump off sides, as they ended up doing.
Yeah, so, I mean, by the letter of the law, I think Kirby might have been right,
Yeah. Wow. That's some Dan Lanning-esque stuff there. That's crazy. All right, Woodhouse Day Spa with that official update.
Hey, treat that special someone to the gift of luxury. Birmingham's best day spa, the Woodhouse Day Spa. Treat yourself. 2025, revitalize, rejuvenate. You can do it from our friends at the Woodhouse Day Spa. You can choose from a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa voted America's best day spa since 2009. You can order that special person gift online 24/7, birmingham.woodhousespas.com, or just stop in, see Stuart and that great staff located at the Summit Shopping Centers.
Okay, let's throw some flowers to other players before we talk Jalen Milroe. Jihaad Campbell, he's going to the NFL. No surprise here. I think he'll be a really good NFL linebacker.
I do too, yep.
Well, he made some money this year in Tuscaloosa, by the way. I'm not talking NIL. I'm talking about his draft stock.
That's right.
Only went up all season long.
I agree. So Jihaad Campbell leaving for the NFL. He'll be a next great linebacker for Alabama in the NFL. Our buddy, our guy, Tyler Booker, who has been on this show weekly for 2 years, he announces he is on his way to the NFL. Roll Tide for life there, Booker. I thanked him for coming on the show on Twitter, and he said, save me a spot on the show. So I think throughout the NFL seasons, we've got a guy we can call on every now and then to get a little Booker NFL comments.
Yeah, I was texting a little bit with Book last night. I absolutely love that guy. I think he's been an exceptional face for Alabama football.
Yep.
He's a guy that stuck through and said all the right things when he stuck through the coaching change there. I think he's, has it gone team-wise the way everybody wanted it to go while he was there? No. And it hasn't gone the way he would want it to go. But I don't think anybody can point the finger at Tyler Booker and say that guy didn't give his all and try to make it happen. I think he's a great representative of Alabama football, and I hope he goes and kills it in the NFL. Yeah. I don't think anybody's going to be surprised that we love Tyler Booker.
A nice little transition from Saban to DeBoer with Tyler Booker. And then we get to Jalen Milroe, and as I said on a video yesterday on our social platforms, I think this is the perfect ending for Jalen Milroe in Tuscaloosa because what he did, he let the fan base off the hook. He let Kalen DeBoer and the coaching staff off the hook by announcing he's going to the NFL. Nobody has to make a tough decision. Alabama fans can remember Jalen Milroe for the great times, the 2 wins over Georgia, the SEC championship, the 4th in I forget how long at Jordan-Hare, all the good Jalen Milroe moments. They can remember that and hold that in fond memory, not have to, think about him quarterbacking at Alabama anymore and wherever you fall on that side of the fence. And then I think he lets Kalen DeBoer off the hook from making a tough decision that if he wanted to stay in college, do I tell him he doesn't have a place on this team and he goes to another college to finish his career? Perfect ending, in my opinion, for Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah, look, behind the scenes, we don't know what happened. I mean, they could have had a sit-down. Hey, look, I'm kind of undecided. What do you think? Well, what I think is we don't have a spot for you.
I think you really ought to try the NFL.
Could have been that. I think more so the more they weighed this out, looking the lasting look was not good against Michigan. But again, it takes one team to fall in love with you. And, I did a video for us yesterday, and I think that when you look at it, it's going to be Shedeur and Cam Ward in one of those orders, and then you got to figure out who that third quarterback is. And more than likely, we just don't see less than 3 quarterbacks going in the first round.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to reach. Most people have that third quarterback as Jalen Milroe. He is going to
I think his stock only goes up from this point forward.
Well, it has to, yeah. I mean, I think it's at like as low as it can go right now. And then once he goes to Indianapolis and has his pro day, I mean, the measurables are going to be incredible. And there are going to be 2 or 3 teams that are going to be like, this guy, when you put it all together, let's look at what he did against LSU. Let's look at what he did against Georgia. And these coaches have egos. Hey, I can make this guy do this every single Sunday.
I told an Alabama fan that yesterday. He was texting me when Milroe announced he was going to the NFL. He was excited about that, by the way. And he was like, I can't believe he's going to the NFL, though. I was like, hey, he's probably, I said, he might be the 3rd best quarterback in this draft. And he's like, you got to be kidding me. I was like, oh, no, his measurables, people will go crazy. And he said, at the combine, and he said, so you mean like a worse Anthony Richardson? I was like, he's a better college quarterback than Anthony Richardson.
Oh, much better.
That's the whole thing, is Anthony Richardson was not the college quarterback that Jalen Milroe has been. Richardson goes to the combine, and the Colts fall in love with the guy. Jalen Milroe's measurables will be every bit what Anthony Richardson's were, and he's been a better college quarterback. So don't sit here and think. I mean, I don't know where the guy's going to go, but as we always say, and we're not the ones that invented this, it only takes one team to fall in love with you. Indianapolis fell in love with Anthony Richardson, and thus Anthony Richardson got drafted in the 1st round. And I think Milroe's going to have the same type of combine that Richardson did.
If the season ended today, there's one more weekend. New England gets the 1st pick. They seem to be happy with Drake May.
They should be.
Oh, yeah, they're going Travis Hunter.
Then there's Tennessee, Cleveland, and the Giants, 2, 3, and 4. That's their draft order right now. Somebody needs a quarterback, and a quarterback. Is there a chance he could go number 4 overall?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Where was Indianapolis when they drafted
4?
4? Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. So that's the kind of information. I mean, he's hearing that you could be the 3rd quarterback taken. And by the way, the team that's picking 2nd, Tennessee, needs a quarterback. Okay. Shedeur Sanders. Cleveland needs a quarterback. Okay. Cam Ward. The Giants need a quarterback. I'm
out of quarterbacks.
Okay, Jalen Milroe. Oh, by the way, New England may trade down to somebody else in the draft who wants a quarterback who jumps up to number 1. So you could go maybe 3rd, right? I mean, it's crazy. You could be the 4th quarterback off the board and go 4th. It's insanity when it comes to quarterbacks in the NFL. They don't mind. They will struggle to take a running back in the 1st round, because they don't want to waste a pick.
Yeah.
But they will waste a pick on taking a future gamble on a quarterback.
So Keith throws this out there in the mybookie.ag chat room. Watch the Ravens. Not that the Ravens need a new starter, but you could keep Jalen Milroe on a rookie contract for 5 years as a backup to Lamar Jackson. And in the event Lamar Jackson misses a start, the skill set that Jalen Milroe brings, you don't have to change your offense. Like, Lamar Jackson's a unicorn in the NFL. There are not a whole lot of quarterbacks like him that you can use as a backup, right? Where if my guy is out, I really don't have to change a whole lot of what I do on offense. Jalen Milroe is that guy.
Yeah, but you don't do a 1st round pick for that, though, right?
You could. I mean, you're going to have him on a rookie contract. And when you're talking about the Ravens, a team that has a lot, they don't have a whole lot of needs that you absolutely have to use a 1st round pick on.
I don't see him slipping out of the 1st round just based on how well he'll test. Now, if he was to get injured and wasn't able to go out and run and throw and that kind of stuff, then and all you've got is film, then that could be a problem. But he is going to wow a lot of people. I don't know how you guys feel. This past NFL draft, when you look at Drake May, you look at Jaden Daniels, you look at Caleb Williams, you look at Bo Nix, you look at Michael Penix Jr. This was a great NFL draft, and I think you've got 4 or 5 longtime starters.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've got a longtime starter coming up in this draft.
And the other thing I was going to bring up is if you're an NFL team, you look at next year's draft. Who is your obvious starter coming out of next year's draft? I mean, look at the quarterback slants that are left behind in college football once this group leaves. Who blows you away?
I think that's where sadly, that's where we're going with quarterbacks in general.
I know.
It seems like quarterback play is starting to.
I mean, who blows you away?
Yeah, I mean, I brought this up the other day. Like, if you were to give me your first-team All-American quarterback, you guys said you wouldn't be surprised if it's Eli Manning or Arch Manning.
Arch Manning. He hadn't even taken a snap. It'll probably be Lenora Sellers, who, by the way, will not be eligible for next year's draft.
John Mateer at Oklahoma.
And by the way, Sellers didn't look fantastic in his bowl game.
He did not. You're correct. Mike Shula calling plays, incidentally, and he did not look fantastic. I saw a lot of old-school Mike Shula play calling in that game. I don't know if you noticed that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so I'm just saying, that helps Milroe is that it's not like NFL teams are like, we're going to pass on quarterback this year because, oh my gosh, next year.
Yeah, I think Drew Aller will probably be your number one guy that people.
Are you kidding me?
I swear. Just based on the fact that he's, 6'4", 6'5", 240 pounds. He's got a live arm.
Well, listen, if Drew Aller is the best of the crop next year, you best draft this year.
Well, I think that part of the reason, I think Sean Payton saw down the line and he said, hey,
I can make something out of Bo Nix.
We can move Russell Wilson on. Bo Nix fits what I want to do here in Denver. Let's go ahead and get him now.
Well, by the way, Sean Payton.
That's why, like I said, if I was Carson Beck, Quinn Ewers, even a guy like Jalen Milroe, if you believe you can come back and be more consistent, you can be that number one overall guy next year.
Yeah. Or you can go now and get paid because they're hurting for quarterbacks right now. But that's Jalen Milroe. To the reaction from Alabama fans, and a thought on that from our mybookie.ag chat room in just a second. Brandy, tell us about the fine folks at the Golfus.
Man, the Golfus, I had somebody actually reach out and say, I went to the Golfus the other day. You're right, that place is cool. And it is. In fact, it's 70 degrees. That's how cool it is. It's cold outside, never cold in the Golfus. Wind's never blowing in the Golfus, never raining in the Golfus. Man, get out of the office and get into the Golfus. Birmingham's best indoor golf simulators are right there at the Golfus, and you can go see them for yourself. Here's the website to find out more. I'm going to tell you a little bit, but thegolfus.com, thegolfus.com. To book a bay. They are already open on Highway 31 in Vestavia. They are now open on Van Road, just off Highway 11 in Trussville, and soon to be open on Highway 280. Always 70 degrees in the Golfus. Great place for parties. You bring your own food, bring your own drink, bring your own clubs, and enjoy those simulators on courses that you've seen on TV that you've always wanted to play. Play them at the Golfus. Thegolfus.com. That is thegolfus.com.
Okay, I'm not going to give a name because it came via a text to my phone and not.
So these are industry sources?
Well, no. It's just somebody who is an Alabama fan and a Baltimore Ravens fan. He just says, my heart couldn't take Milroe in a Ravens uniform.
Milroe is a project, is what Milroe is.
Yeah.
I'm talking about him as a very capable backup. And
he's better than Tyler Huntley, and Tyler Huntley actually won them games coming in.
Right.
I know you've got Tyler Huntley now.
He's about to start for me Sunday in a must-win game.
And he did it for a while. But the reaction from the Alabama fans on Milroe going, and we saw it yesterday. We'd heard the talk all year long that this guy had all of a sudden divided the fan base.
Yeah. Well, real quick, I'll just say this, and Craig, I don't think is taking a shot. He's just saying how things change. Lance, you thought Beck would be the number one overall going into this year.
100%.
So, that shows you how things can change.
I think most people did.
You're right about that. Jason says, Milroe is fast but not elusive. It is weird. Gaston says the opposite. The guy can power through a hole. He's like he's shot out of a cannon. Somebody said, Justice says, watch the Jets take him.
Oh, you don't want that for him.
Gaston asks, what's his 40 speed? He says he thinks it's 4.3. What do you guys think his 40 speed is?
I think it's legit 4.4. It could creep into the 4.3s.
Yeah.
But I think it's a legit 4.4.
Yeah. Landmine believer, the GM that falls in love with Milroe loses their job.
I've got a Milroe at a 4.3 40 time.
Was that hand time by you, Tyler? I'm kidding.
That is by Google.
Hand time by Google.
I mean, it's going to be 4.35 to 4.42. I mean, he's fast.
Brody says Milroe has a great chance to get to go learn a good organization, set himself up for a couple of NFL contracts at least. I agree with that. That was kind of the thought I had with the Ravens is you sit there and learn. The combine is going to be Milroe's best friend is what Rusty says. Jason calls for a position change. Rusty says, thanks for the great memories, especially 4th and 31. Good luck in the future, but bye. Brody says, I will always remember Milroe for the great wins and moments. I hate he didn't get to play with the assets that other Bama quarterbacks did. That is, in fact, true.
It is a fact.
Yeah, you do wonder. 4th and 31, look, it's one of the great plays in all of college football, but especially in the history of Alabama football. Without that 4th and 31, really, what is his legacy, though? Because without that win, they lose to Auburn. They don't go to the college football playoffs, or actually they don't play in the SEC championship, right?
Well, they not already clinched.
I'd have to go look.
Yeah, I can't remember. I thought
think
they
were
clinched.
because they'd beaten LSU.
Well, maybe,
but either way.
But they probably weren't going to beat Georgia with that loss.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to pick yourself up off the mat at that point, right?
Yeah.
Little T says, quote unquote, fourth, and I forget how long. Okay, sure, Dunaway.
I can't get to the tattoo,
Taylor.
Taylor.
Did not buy that.
You don't want me to pull my pants leg up to see it on my calf, do you? So that's Milroe to the NFL, and that ends what had become a very sticky, uncomfortable relationship between Alabama fans and their starting quarterback. Some staff changes going on, but also the other side of what's next at Alabama quarterback. After I remind you that the show is brought to you in part today by our friends at DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com. That Milroe 4th and 31, is it 31?
31 is correct,
That
yes.
4th and 31 is a DanielMooreArt.com painting. You can go to DanielMooreArt.com if you want to remember Jalen Milroe today and make that purchase. It is not hanging in Taylor's abode, that is for sure. You can also get the legend, a tribute to Coach Nick Saban and his 6 national championship seasons. It is there, DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com, and all the other great works there. Go check them out, DanielMooreArt.com, and you still got time to get the 2025 calendar. You've only missed 3 days. Coupon code TNR, 20% off there, DanielMooreArt.com. Quarterback next up, Ty Simpson, obviously. Austin Mack may be in the mix. You're bringing in the 5-star Keelan Russell,
who apparently had a great game to finish off his high school career.
He did. He's a legit 5-star guy coming in, who apparently had been approached by a couple, according to him on his social media, a couple of other big-time programs had been reaching out to him to with some big NIL offers, saying, hey, come visit, and we've got an NIL package we'd love to show you. Take a look at this. Here, let me whip this out. And he decides to stay committed to Alabama. So those are 3 names. We don't know if another one will enter the conversation there at all.
At this point,
just gut feeling right now.
I think, look, obviously the staff likes Austin Mack, one of the reasons he came. And I think more so, look, the familiarity with the system, I think it also helps other quarterbacks on the roster when he came in and, you know, they could lean over, hey, what's this? What's this read?
What's he saying here? I don't know what he's saying.
Yeah, terminology, stuff like that. But I think most Alabama fans want to see Ty Simpson. You hear Ty Simpson, how good he is behind the scenes, and this is a guy that's been there for 3 years. He's thrown a total of 50 career attempts.
50 touchdown passes only in my dreams.
Gunnar Stockton threw his first career touchdown yesterday. Ty Simpson's next touchdown will be his first career touchdown. I think there is something about a guy not transferring out that's got a lot of talent, you know, being a big part of what you do behind the scenes, earning his stripes. I think Alabama fans want to see Ty Simpson get his turn.
I think that's the majority opinion right now. I did see a lot of Austin Mack on the social media discussion. A lot of people feel like they would not have taken him as a transfer and, risk losing some of those guys like Ty Simpson in the transfer portal if they didn't think a whole lot of him. I don't know. I haven't seen Austin Mack play, but obviously Kalen DeBoer has liked him enough twice, wants to have him as part of a Washington team and then wants to accept him as part of an Alabama team. So clearly Kalen DeBoer likes Austin Mack.
I remember I can't remember if it was on camera or off camera, talking to Kalen DeBoer about Austin Mack, and he said it's somebody I've liked in high school, and that's why we recruited him at Washington, and glad to have him in the room. And so they obviously like him. So that'll be a good battle there, and we'll have spring practice to work that out, summer workouts, and see who ends up being the guy. And you just wonder how quickly do you factor in the 5-star incoming true freshman into that mix as well when he gets to campus. Now to the staff changes. And I'm not saying Kalen DeBoer is getting the old band back together, but Kalen DeBoer is getting the old band back together. Today, being promoted from on the staff is Chuck Morrell. Chuck Morrell this year served as the special assistant to the head coach. When he came with Kalen DeBoer from Washington, he left behind where he was the co-defensive coordinator and safeties coach for his 2 years at Washington, and he had been with him at Fresno State. Now he comes to Alabama after being the special assistant for a year, and he is going to be promoted up to being co-defensive coordinator and safety coach, just like he was there at Washington. And I think you still believe there is a chance that the former OC at Washington, who is got one more game with the Seahawks, and then his job status could change. There's still a chance he could end up in Tuscaloosa.
I think there is, yeah.
Ryan Grubb is who we're talking about there.
And I think people would be, if you're not excited, you should be excited.
Yeah, so keep an eye on that Alabama staff, but that is all made possible today by the dismissal or a guy who is, whether he is fired or is being, asked to leave, however you want to phrase it. Alabama made a coaching change today with a guy who had a year left on his contract.
Yeah, Colin Hitchler, who came to Alabama from Wisconsin and served as co-defensive coordinator and coached the safeties, he has been told he will not be retained. So he's got another year on his contract. They'll buy that out, and he will be gone, which, again, starts, as you said, Jim, kind of a reorganization of a staff. When a season doesn't go the way you want it to go, you got to look internally and say, what happened, right? And where can we make changes to make ourselves stronger? And obviously, Kalen DeBoer's first change he looks at, and maybe his only change, we'll see. I mean, Lance's...
Well, let me say this. So this is an article that I came across, SB Nation, and it's the Seattle Seahawks, their main forum. And so the article is titled, "A More Balanced Offense Never Materialized for Ryan Grubb's Seahawks." And this was December 31st, so just a couple of days ago. An unfulfilled preseason promise led to unrealized playoff potential and an offensive coordinator who has probably seen his final days in Seattle.
Wow. Well, I mean, you've got to think, Lance, if he is a free agent, Kalen DeBoer is on the phone 2 seconds later, right?
Got to be.
I mean, I don't know why he would not be.
Yeah.
And that's not to say you fire Nick Sheridan. No, I mean, Sheridan may still be part of the staff.
I would be surprised if and it looks like Ryan Grubb is going to be out after Sunday, I would be surprised if he's not offered the job. Now, whether he takes it, we'll see.
One reason he wanted the Seattle job, he and his wife wanted to stay in that area up there. They didn't want to leave Seattle. They loved it. They loved their home. He didn't have to change addresses. He didn't have to pack or anything. Even though he did come to Tuscaloosa for a few weeks to help with the recruiting class and even introduced himself on signing day as the offensive coordinator.
Did you interview him on that show? Were you his only interview in Tuscaloosa?
I did not interview him, but
you were Mike Price.
I tweeted out his announcement of, "Hi, I'm Ryan Grubb. I'm your offensive coordinator." And then the next day he was on a plane to Seattle. So it's interesting to watch the staff realignment, and it does seem like Kalen DeBoer's circle may get a little smaller there over in Tuscaloosa.
Real quick, I will say EG just sent us this. It is from Sidelines. I'll give them credit. SSN_Alabama, Sidelines Alabama. What they say is a screenshot from Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. with the announcement or the breaking news that Alabama has fired co-defensive coordinator Colin Hitchler per ESPN. Over that, he writes the caption, "My safety coach just got fired. Thank you, Lord."
Thank you, Lord. Wow.
Safe to say Dre was not. Dre's not on board, huh?
My safeties coach just got fired. Thank you, Lord.
That is the screen cap that they have from what is attributed to Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. That is according to Sidelines-Bama, SSN_Alabama. Going to go heavy on the credit to them on this one, Jim.
Yeah. All right. Hey, New York Butcher Shop brings you part of the show, and always a great way to get ready for another weekend. If you're confused on days, it's not Tuesday today. It is Friday. Feels like a Tuesday.
Today's a Friday.
Yep.
Last night, me and Bullet and Chili shared a little filet from the New York Butcher Shop. Some of those roasted red potatoes on the side. Just fantastic food. Look, the weekend is here. Pick up some great you can pick up hot dogs, meatballs. They've got shepherd's pie. I mean, just fantastic, made from scratch right there. Both locations, Cabo Heights, the original, newest location, Highway 119 in Greystone. Get in and see that incredible staff, fresh meat, specialty items, catering, great desserts and wines, rare quality, well-done service. 2 locations, one-stop shop. It's the New York Butcher Shop.
If you're a degenerate and love college football, North Texas and Texas State today, 3 o'clock ESPN.
Got to play on it.
And then the Duke's Mayo Bowl tonight, Minnesota and Virginia Tech, 6:30 ESPN. We'll talk to Todd Fuhrman about those games, about SEC basketball starting tomorrow, about next Thursday's Orange and Friday's Cotton, or is it the other way around? Which one's first? I think it's a Thursday Orange, Friday Cotton Bowls. for the semifinal games in the college football playoffs. You know, on those big Thursday, Friday nights where all of America wants to watch.
It is Thursday, Notre Dame, Penn State, Friday, Ohio State, Texas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fuhrman talks all that when we come back right here on TNR.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at ScottForresterTV.
Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, CoverCrimson.com and TheBarnAuburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or TheBarnAuburn.com. Sign up today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, new hour here. Todd Fuhrman in just a second when he joins the show. We'll talk to him. This part of the show being brought to you by Storm Restoration Roofing. That's Greg from Pell City over at Storm Restoration Roofing. He's ready to help you out and get you with that free no-cost roof inspection. All you have to do is jump up there, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531. He's Greg from Pell City, A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. He is absolutely the most trusted roofing guy in Central Alabama. He'll help you out in 2025 with that no-cost roof inspection with no obligation. Also handles storm damage, roof replacements, inspections, anything you can think of on the roof. He'll take care of you and great family members, sons and sons-in-laws on those crews as well. He's Greg from Pell City on Facebook and Storm Restoration Roofing right there. And go check him out online. He's the best in the business right there. We've known Greg a long time and trusted him. Todd Fuhrman is on the show now. Brownie, let's talk to Fuhrman about what we've seen so far and what's ahead in the college football playoffs.
We can do just that. He is BetTheBoardPodcast.com's Todd Fuhrman and at Todd Fuhrman on social media. Happy New Year, Fuhrman. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. Happy New Year to you guys as well. Hopefully everyone has enjoyed some of the bowl games and some surprising results on a variety of levels. Not exactly a ringing endorsement for the SEC thus far, that's for sure.
Don't you come in here and pile on, Fuhrman.
Lance refuses to count Texas
Yeah,
as an SEC
Texas
team.
is not SEC right now.
So for Lance, the SEC is done. We're on to basketball in Lance's world.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, it appears to be a quite depolarizing opinion, and I've always wondered with SEC fans, do they root for the rest of the conference, or do they want every other program to lose if their favorite team goes down in ignominious fashion?
Well, I mean, they should root against the conference, in my opinion. I don't root for the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah. But if it's
or the Seahawks.
If it's Texas against Penn State or Notre Dame, I don't know anybody that'll be going Notre Dame or Penn State. I think they'll all go Texas.
Well, I think, Fuhrman, seriously, all it will take is you opening up your tablet today and reading in CBSSports.com the Big Ten has passed the SEC as the dominant football conference. Brett McMurphy saying SEC fans will remember 2006 to 2022. Those days are over. It just takes 2 or 3 of those stories until you're like, damn it, I hate Texas. But go ahead and win this whole thing.
I mean, it is the nature of college football, what we all love about the sport, the tribal component of it, and the fact that you could have 3 teams essentially from Big Ten country, or you do, I should say, and 2 actual members in the Big Ten with Notre Dame, Penn State, and Ohio State vying for a national championship. A little bit of a shift. And again, you wonder with these super conference leagues how much we can take away from regular season strength of schedule, or if we see increased exposure for these teams playing one another in the non-conference portion of things. And Ohio State and Texas, regardless who comes out victorious next week, well, they'll get to run it back the opening weekend of the season, and I'm sure that will be a highly anticipated game, albeit not with nearly the same level at stake as what we're going to see in the semifinal.
So 2 parts here. Fuhrman, 7-1 for the favorites. I would assume that can't be great for the books. And then the other side yesterday, and one of those favorites ended up being Notre Dame because that number flipped to Notre Dame -1, 1.5, depending on where you were shopping it. I couldn't figure that game out. I was just like, you know what? I know it's a backup quarterback, but I'm going to play Georgia. Notre Dame has got to prove to me that they can win one of these games, and obviously they did yesterday. So how did the books do, and where were you on Georgia Notre Dame?
Not as problematic as you'd think through the college football quarterfinals, because Arizona State covering, even though they weren't able to win that game outright, helped books a ton. It wasn't looking great when they trailed 24-8 in the wake of Penn State taking all sorts of public money and support the Friday night before. Then you follow it up with a favorite that the books actually needed in Ohio State, because a lot of recreational bettors saw the gaudy undefeated record from Oregon, thought it was too good to pass up, and they had some money line exposure for the Ducks in that spot. And then given the questions that I think a lot of people had about Notre Dame winning a game of this magnitude, you did have about 70% of the tickets coming in on Georgia at a lot of recreational shops, but there was professional money that drove that number up in Notre Dame, which ultimately led to them closing as a favorite. But anyone who watched that game, I'm not sure you come away going Notre Dame was definitely the better team. Notre Dame didn't make the costly mistakes, and it's rare that we've been able to say Kirby Smart was out coaching that game. Marcus Freeman was one step ahead, and it paid dividends for a Notre Dame team that was buttoned up and really didn't have to do much in the way of creating big plays offensively other than moving the chains when they needed it most late in that contest.
Okay, I want you to tell me how Texas can beat Ohio State, and if the betting market will ever say that, because nobody has given them a chance. It's like I'm in a time machine and it's 2005. Even Stuart Mandel writing about how James Franklin and Marcus Freeman, the winner of that game, will be the first black coach in a national championship game. He goes on to say, he ends the article this way at The Athletic: I'm sure whichever wins next week will be honored to carry that mantle, but also stressed beyond belief to prepare for Ohio State. They haven't played that game yet, by the way, Stuart.
Prepared for Ohio State.
He prepared for Ohio State, period, end of column. Texas doesn't have a chance?
I'm not going to say Texas doesn't have a chance, and it's wild to see how opinion drastically changes, because when we watched Ohio State in the regular season finale really struggle to do anything on the offensive side, everyone was ready to run Ryan Day out of town, especially those closest to the Ohio State programs that had more or less lost their head. Then we get the bounce-back performance from Ohio State, dominant fashion, taking care of Tennessee in a home game, and keeping in mind that they closed that game as a 7.5 point favorite, and you had overwhelming public support backing the Vols because there were questions about Ohio State and their ability to be able to go out there and execute on both sides of the ball. Fast forward to the Rose Bowl, where we saw more public support for the Oregon Ducks, but Ohio State boat races them early, and it looked like Dan Lanning and his coaching staff were in over their heads. And suddenly Ohio State is now absolutely unbeatable, but you're being forced to pay a premium to back the Buckeyes here that you're laying 5.5. I know this won't sit well with Tennessee fans, but I would be thrilled with the opportunity to play 1.5, 2 with Texas on a neutral field, essentially, against Tennessee like this number suggests. So what was interesting when this number did open as low as 4, got bet as high as 6.5, and that's where you started to see a little bit of early resistance on the Longhorns. A lot of the guys that I spoke to were hoping the number could run as far as 7, and they would be intrigued to try and back the Longhorns plus 7. But here we are sitting in that 5.5, 6 range, and I think that's where it's going to stay. What I do think is fascinating is the total in this game that opened as high as 54.5. We've seen some under money, and you have to imagine if the Longhorns have a path to beating Ohio State, it's because a defense that has been the strength of this team all season can raise its level of play and maybe come up with a novel concept to actually cover Jeremiah Smith, something the first 2 Ohio State postseason opponents haven't done.
Todd Fuhrman is with us, bettheboardpodcast.com, bettheboardpodcast.com, and at Todd Fuhrman on social media. The statistics will tell us that James Franklin has finally gotten the 2 wins that he never gets. But has he really? I mean, do we believe SMU and Boise are those wins?
Yeah, not exactly the boogeyman that James Franklin has been able to vanquish so far in the playoffs. No disrespect meant to SMU or Boise, but those aren't perennial powers from the from the Power Four conferences. So James Franklin still has his work cut out for him. But at the same time, I think we'd be doing a disservice to the handicap on Notre Dame Penn State if we didn't make a slight adjustment for Penn State having not 1 but 2 days of a rest advantage, given all of the situations unfolding around Notre Dame and the unfortunate circumstances in New Orleans. So I think that works in Penn State's favor. And while they don't have the luxury of coming in the more well-rested team other than the 2 days, they do in the fact that you look at the opponents that they played, significantly different than the level of physicality that Notre Dame has had to encounter in wins against Indiana and, of course, yesterday against Georgia. So you can understand why Penn State suddenly becomes a very attractive underdog. Catching 1.5, we'll see if the number takes on a life of its own and continues to leak out. But at the same time, I'd be lying, guys, if I said I was bullish on Penn State, but I think they may get the bounce they so desperately needed for a fan base that just couldn't crack the college football playoff when it was only 4 teams.
Fuhrman, we know if Ohio State wins, they're going to be favored against Notre Dame or Penn State. But if Texas was to spring the upset, this was a team just a week ago was favored to win this whole thing. Do you think Texas is a slight favorite over Notre Dame or Penn State?
I do, because I think the narrative around Texas will flip and public perception will change drastically like we see all the time in the NFL playoffs. When I'm looking at it right now, I actually make Texas a 1-point favorite against Notre Dame if that game was taking place now, and I make them a little bit more of a favorite. If I back out the slight rest edge, I'd make Texas 1.5, 2 against Penn State. So we'll see how things can change, and I think that would be the matchup that would surprise a lot of folks, given what you guys have mentioned, that everyone throughout media seems to want to create the coronation for Ohio State, and we can make the legitimate case that this game will have a heck of a lot more pressure for the Buckeyes than either of their first 2 playoff games did, and we'd also be doing Texas a disservice if we didn't account for a little bit of home field advantage. Even though we anticipate Ohio State fans will travel, it's going to be a lot more burnt orange in the Cotton Bowl than what we've seen from the previous bowl games already that Ohio State has had to play in.
Okay, flipping to the final weekend of the NFL, asking for a friend, is the Saints money line a good bet? Is there any way the Buccaneers can lose this game this weekend?
Anything is possible in the NFL. We know that. Given what we've seen from the Saints down the stretch, you become a little bit more skeptical. And it's 6-1, upwards of 7-1. It could offer you a little bit of upside. But given the Saints' performances the last couple weeks and Baker kind of being on an absolute heater, I would think, even with the concerns the Bucs have in that defensive backfield, that they will take care of business. I'm not running to lay the 14. I will say that we've seen a little bit of money come in on the underdog at plus 14, but I have not seen anybody running to the window with an opinion I truly respect, looking to back the Saints on the money line. So it would serve Tampa pretty well if they were able to get out to an early lead and not have to go into the fourth quarter playing in a one-possession game.
All right, if we're going to be purely selfish in our questions, is there any chance that both Kansas City beats Denver and Miami beats the Jets on the road starting Snoop Huntley?
Unfortunately, Brownie, I'm going to say no. And the reason I say that is because I'm not sure Miami even wins their regular season finale.
I don't think they do.
Yeah, with Huntley as a short road favorite here, this one feels like a difficult spot. I know the Jets have been much maligned, everyone pointing fingers there, but it wouldn't shock me at all if they found a way to put together a complete effort here to close out the season. I actually like the Jets a decent amount, plus the 1 in that game.
Are you a little surprised that everybody is still on this Detroit bandwagon? I mean, injuries are a massive part of the NFL season, and defensively, they are so banged up. They're still favored. I know they're playing in Ford Field on Sunday night, but this Minnesota team is red hot, and it's like everybody just assumes Detroit's going to win this game.
This game has been one of the bigger battles that we've seen in the market for, a number that hasn't been adjusted for player availability. Spoken to a number of folks. There is an appetite to lay the 2.5 with Detroit when it's widely available as a short home favorite here, and a very different school of thought begins to enter the market at 3 flat. So I think we're going to continue to see a battle. And I kind of said earlier this week, LT, that the Lions need this game like blood, because I really believe if the Lions go down Sunday night and are forced to travel across the country for the second time in less than 3 weeks, that the Rams will be waiting and rested and get a Lions team ripe for an upset. So if the Lions lose, I have them penciled in as a very likely upset candidate, and the Rams' ability to return the favor for a playoff game that they didn't go their way last year. So I would love the Rams as a field goal underdog in that wild card weekend if they took out the Lions.
I'm right there with. That's exactly the scenario I want to play out.
Yep, and I think from a fan perspective, you're the Lions, you have to be extremely concerned because, to your point, this team is running on absolute fumes. They had in one of the earlier bye weeks, and if you can't get stops whatsoever with a defense that's banged up, even if you're getting Alex Anzalone back in the fold and a couple of the secondary contributors, there are some real concerns for the Honolulu Blues getting into the postseason.
Yeah, by the way, their 7.6 yards per play allowed in December is the most in the Super Bowl era. That's how bad Detroit's defense is playing in December as we flip the calendar. Flipping the calendar to the SEC basketball season, which starts tomorrow conference play with some great matchups. 15 of the 16 teams in the league are in the top 53 in the net, Fuhrman. How competitive is this? If I'm trying to pick a champion in this league, is there a value play of a team you think can win the Southeastern Conference Championship, playing the odds out? Auburn, obviously the favorite.
Yeah, I'm going to go good luck in trying to identify a conference champion right now, because I think this is where the unbalanced schedule that gets a ton of attention in college football plays a role, but even more so in college basketball as you go through. And there's a reason that 3 teams are so tightly bunched. You mentioned Auburn being the favorite right now, Tennessee kind of that second shot on the board, and then Alabama before you really start to drop down. So you have to go through, make sure you're trying to assess the schedule matrix and figure out exactly who can get some of their tougher road games out of the way earlier in the conference schedule, because we know home court advantage, especially when kids are back on campus as we get deeper into February and even early March, will begin to play a bigger role. So it should be a fun watch from top to bottom. But if you're asking me to pick a winner now and advocate for making a bet on one of these teams, absolutely no desire right now to kind of go through and flip coins.
The only number I've actually seen for tomorrow is Kentucky, a 2-point home favorite over Florida. That's up right now at mybookie.ag. Do you have a guess where you think Auburn, Missouri, and Alabama, Oklahoma will open?
When you look at the Auburn-Missouri game, I think we're talking about a big number here with Auburn playing at home, somewhere in that 15 to 16.5 range. So I wouldn't put Auburn on upset alert by any stretch of the imagination. Now we could see weird things start to play out in conference, but in my opinion, it's not going to happen there. In terms of the Alabama-Oklahoma game, you're looking at Alabama poised to open as an 8 to 9 point favorite as they'll welcome in the Sooners, which should be a higher scoring game. I just think Alabama too much on the offensive end with the way that they've played so far in the non-conference schedule with offensive efficiency that Oklahoma just won't have enough to match them. But, yeah, big numbers there. I wouldn't put really either of those teams on upset alert in their SEC openers.
I mean, imagine being Missouri. You've had a really nice pre-conference. You're a 15-point dog to open your conference schedule.
How about Oklahoma? They're 13-0.
13-0.
They haven't lost.
Yeah, and they've beaten Arizona and Michigan.
Yeah, it's wild.
But I agree, Fuhrman. I think that number's 7 or 8.
Yeah, it's got to be a big number here, and it's just one of those things as you go through some of these non-conference schedules and try and figure out, which of these teams are going to be able to raise their level of play. Some of them haven't played in a lot of true road environments, and that often works against you. And I think that's the one thing for Missouri that raises some red flags in this spot. I mean, they haven't played in a true road game since their season opener way back on Monday, November 4th. So I know they played bragging rights against an Illini team who looked dynamite last night against Oregon, but it's always tough when you're going on the road in conference and you haven't played in a lot of hostile venues to be able to adjust for those kind of elements.
All right, he is Todd Fuhrman. You get all the games at bettheboardpodcast.com, bettheboardpodcast.com, and on social media at Todd Fuhrman. Fuhrman, thank you very much for the time. Enjoy the games this weekend.
You guys do the same. Look forward to chatting about the next college football semifinal since we'll have one in the books when we reconvene this time next Friday.
That's right. We'll do it then. Thank you, Fuhrman. Have a great weekend. Todd Fuhrman with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
Yeah, and our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken bring you part of the show today. They bring you the final hour. We want to remind you that right now, Champy's Chicken is there for you to get ready for lunchtime as it opens up in about 40 minutes. You'll get that first chance to order that deep fried chicken that's brined overnight, all the wonderful sides. As the weather cools down, can you imagine sitting down in a wonderful, cozy restaurant just off Highway 119 in Alabaster and ordering 2 big southern fried breasts, all the great sides, brined overnight, cooked to order, drink a cocktail, and then when that chicken comes out, piping hot, just soothes the soul right there. That's what Sterling offers up. Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Brownie.
Why, and Lance, you perhaps know this, I'm sure you're trying to find a nugget for NFL games at Lance's Lock. I'm reading Schefter. Josh Allen is going to appear briefly Sunday, so they've signed Mike White because they're going to need another quarterback. Why play him at all?
I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense at all to me. Like they're
locked
in as the 2.
You've got the 2 seed, yeah.
There's nothing can change. You can't get the 1. You can't fall to the 3.
And he is going to win the MVP.
And you're going to play next week. It's not like, well, we got to keep him sharp. No, I mean, it's just like a bye week for him.
Yeah, because Kansas City has the bye. Buffalo's got to turn around and
play.
They
got to turn around and play.
I will say this. Clean read. He doesn't get hurt.
Bills fans are glad you're the one saying that.
Yeah. By the way, Pro Bowl.
But I would not play him.
I wouldn't either.
By the way, Pro Bowl yesterday in the AFC, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson for the first time since he became a starter. No Patrick Mahomes there.
Look, Patrick Mahomes, the intangibles are out of this world, but those 3 quarterbacks have played much better this year.
For the NFC, it is Jared Goff, rookie Jaden Daniels, and forgotten Sam Darnold as your NFC Pro Bowls. And for you Alabama fans out there who don't miss Nick Saban enough yet, Derrick Henry, Jerry Jeudy, Patrick Surtain, Mika Fitzpatrick, Jahmyr Gibbs, Josh Jacobs, Landon Dickerson, Xavier McKinney, Brian Branch, 9 Alabama players on the Pro Bowl team.
It's amazing Jerry Jeudy made the Pro Bowl with the quarterbacks he's had throwing to him this year. I mean, that's pretty incredible, honestly.
That's game-recognizing game right there.
It really is. And the starting quarterback this weekend, I just saw it.
Oh, for the Browns?
Yeah.
Lance, it cannot get any worse. Did you watch them play my Dolphins this past Sunday?
Yeah, just hold tight because I saw this and I was kind of blown away.
I mean, their quarterback situation, I don't know what they're going to do.
Bailey Zappi.
Was it Bailey Zappi? Is that who's starting? Yeah. Wow, the former Western Kentucky quarterback?
Yeah, but
is the game on CBS
to your
Sports Network?
To your point, that's the reason Nick Saban was winning national championships.
Yep.
Like,
really
Alabama's got a really talented roster, But you can't tell me, like, these guys are going to be major impact guys in the NFL. Like, you think Ryan Williams will, but outside of that.
Yeah, the roster looks very different. Let's do our spotlight today. Tyler, hit the button, man.
The College Football Spotlight.
McCurry, Van, a car rental brings to you every single day. You can rent from McCurry. They got all the cars, vans, and trucks, and passenger vans and SUVs. Make it easy to rent, in and out fast. Locations throughout North Alabama, Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, 2nd Avenue Northwest of Coleman, and Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa. Reserve your rental today, 256-559-1003. That's 256-559-1003 or McCurryRentals.com.
Back to Stuart Mendel, who was at the game last night, and talking with college football officials, specifically those from the Orange and Cotton Bowl. They say they're very concerned about the attendance, especially for the Orange Bowl game coming up, which is Notre Dame and Penn State on Thursday night. They're concerned about empty seats at the Orange Bowl. They were concerned about the Cotton Bowl until that ended up being Texas. But they're concerned still about Orange and Cotton. 10% empty seats at the Fiesta Bowl, 20% empty seats at the Peach Bowl, according to those that were covering the game. And out of respect, they're not going to comment about what they saw on the upper ends of the Sugar Bowl last night.
I did see, though, that the Sugar Bowl announced they sold 68,000 tickets, and they announced the attendance at 58,000 yesterday. Understandable, right?
Right.
Completely understandable.
A lot of people,
68,000 tickets, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, but not out of fear. A lot of people,
had already plans to go back.
The flights.
That's right.
And it was so hard to change the flights in today's America.
Yeah, I got to get back to work.
Okay, what is moving forward, obviously you want the Orange Bowl, the Rose Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, the Cotton Bowl to have, a place for big games, but if you're not going to be able to sell them out, what do you do moving forward? Because, I think we all agree first 2 rounds on campus make the most sense.
Well, you help me with the math here. 16 teams. That's 8 games on campus.
Mm-hmm.
Then next round, that's
4 games on campus.
Then the next round would be
2 and 1. So
2 and 1.
Yeah, semifinals. You would go in bowl games for the semifinals.
I would.
I played on campus all the way to the championship.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, do this for me.
All right.
16 teams, 4 buys. Then you go 4 on campus, and then you're still in the same.
I don't want any more buys.
Do you think anybody's clamoring for buys now?
No, they were
0-4.
0-4, but Kirby Smart and Dan Lanning both said the layoff not their
okay.
their problem.
It didn't, but it looked the exact opposite.
So back to your plan. I do think that you would sell all these stadiums out if you had the semifinals on campus. So would then you go a rotation every 4 years for the championship game?
It's just bid out. I'd bid
so
it out.
So what do you do with the Rose Bowl?
Well, they take lesser teams. I hate it, but I just think that's better for the game of football. And I know there are people in our audience that love the bowl games. I approach this from a guy, the bowl game, like, could you guys get into that Ole Miss game? I've just watched a college football playoff game, and then we go to the Gator Bowl. It's Ole Miss and Duke.
Absolutely,
all those bowls should be played before you get to this round of the playoffs.
If you're not an Ole Miss fan or gambling, you're not watching.
I had the game on, but I just couldn't, and it was a blowout. It wasn't even a fun game to watch, but I couldn't get invested.
Well, you factor in the fact that it's QB2. Guys throwing 1 pass that's starting for Duke.
Yeah, really 3 actually.
Yeah, so not really a whole lot of passing. He's backup quarterback, less experience than Gunnar Stockton, who was starting in the playoff game. Those bowls were meant to be played before January 1st. All those bowls should be played before January 1st.
Yep, I agree.
The portal shouldn't open until January 1st. Figure out the academic side later. We're bending over backwards anyway. Let's finish it. Figure out the academic stuff and not open the portal until the college football season's over.
I don't think the bowl games just don't mean as much to me. Everybody's like, oh, my God, what happens to the Rose Bowl? Well, the Rose Bowl can have 2 teams, and if people want to go to the game, they'll go to the game. ABC's still going to put it on TV.
That's really the only bowl game I care about.
I can promise you they're still going to televise it. And if it dies, I'm sorry it died. Nothing's guaranteed forever. The newspaper industry used to be the biggest industry in media. It's dead now. Music radio used to be a big deal. It's dead now. I mean, that's just in our industry. Stuff dies in every industry as you continue to progress and get better. And to me, better is playing these games on campus.
Can you just put the Rose Bowl label on it? Like Dick Clark, he died a long time ago, but they've still got Dick Clark's New Year's Eve bash.
I watched it on New Year's.
I did too.
I watched it on New Year's Eve.
I love these games on campus, but there's something about it that the Rose Bowl game, the Sugar Bowl game, felt like it was bigger than an on-campus game. It felt bigger because it was in the Superdome and because it was at the Rose Bowl. It felt bigger.
Well, and the other problem with the Rose is they're not going to move their date, and the date just does not work in the college football playoff calendar. Yeah. So, I mean, I think you put them on campus as long as you can. Now, I will say the crowds were better than I thought they were going to be. Like, if not for the unfortunate act of terrorism, the Sugar Bowl was pretty much going to be a sellout, right? I mean, it was a sellout, but it was going to be a capacity crowd. The Rose was packed. There were no empty seats at the Rose. You say 10% empty for Arizona State and Texas. That crowd was much larger than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Like when they
because Arizona State traveled.
Yeah, when they showed the shots on TV, you didn't see like these big swaths of empty seats like I thought you might. The other one was Boise and Penn State. What were the empties there? Did you have that number?
Which one was that? Fiesta?
Boise Penn State Fiesta.
10%.
Didn't seem that way on TV.
Yeah.
Like just on the TV product, those seem like good, energized crowds, and it didn't take away from the game.
Usually that's the upper rim.
Yeah, I thought you were going to see a lot more empty seats in that. I was wrong about that.
It's basically what you get week in, week out in the NFL.
Yeah.
So,
Truthful.
I mean.
That's true.
But we'll see this week. So they're worried about Penn State.
Notre Dame and Miami.
I mean, maybe I'm just overplaying this, but my gosh, there's got to be a lot of Catholics in Miami, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of Pennsylvania people that have moved to Florida to retire. I'm surprised they're that worried about that ticket. Like if Boise had snuck in there, I could see it.
Yeah.
But Penn State, Miami, I would imagine that's a really
I would
good
have
crowd.
thought both of these would be sellouts.
I mean, Penn State, Notre Dame, and Miami. Well, the Cotton will have to be with Texas in it, right?
Just with the Dallas.
Texas fans at Dallas.
Impossible for that not to be sold out.
I mean, it should be a heavy burnt orange crowd. I mean, Ohio State travels well.
Oh yeah, there's no problem.
But it should be advantage Texas in the crowd.
It's 65-35.
I mean, it'll probably be the biggest crowd in Jerry World this year. Honestly, that'd be bigger than any Cowboys crowd.
In my head, I was thinking it was actually in the Cotton Bowl.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, that'll been a long time, Jim. That's our McCurry Spotlight today, brought to you by our friends at McCurry.
Yeah, McCurryRentals.com, McCurryRentals.com.
Yep, and also Hemp Hill Services. Listen, we're going to tell you another time or two about Hemp Hill. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but right now, before it gets really frigid and we don't get above freezing a long time, it's a good time to get this heating system checked out. Because there's a good chance in a few days, into next week and for a short period of time, that your heating system here in Alabama is going to have to do something that it hasn't done since the 1980s. And that's keep you warm with below freezing temperatures for an extended period of time.
Well, and let me say this. So once I brought this up, I've had two other people that have had to get this done. My gas logs weren't working properly. So Hemp Hill was able to come out and fix this. So it's one of those, if you haven't used the gas logs yet this year, try them out, make sure they're working, because that is going to be something you're going to need next week.
And by the way, when you forget to do what you're supposed to do to keep your pipes from freezing and you have a burst pipe, Hemp Hill also handles plumbing.
Oh, yeah. They can handle all of this. So make sure that you are winter ready for next week. Our friends at Hemp Hill, they are busy, but they can definitely fit you in. They are awaiting that call. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys today. Tell them the next round sent you, 205-229-2090. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness. Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA certified Angus prime rib roast, beef tenderloins, and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by their professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete. Visit one of their 2 locations today in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well done service.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there. By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of NextRoundLive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, CoverCrimson.com and TheBarnAuburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or TheBarnAuburn.com. Sign up today.
Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out TheBarnAuburn.com and CoverCrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to Fall Saturdays.
Back with you on The Next Round. Couple of times a week, Taylor and I will do the basketball show on our video and audio platforms there for you. It's the basketball show.
That's what we're calling it.
Yeah, the basketball show. We just
very original.
Keep it simple.
Sneak up on you guys.
Yeah, the basketball show with Taylor and Jim. Last night we dropped the first one, SEC Basketball Dominance. I guess it dropped this morning, recorded last night. Players that exceeded expectations, Alabama and Auburn's best 3 wins before they get into conference play, previews of Missouri and Oklahoma, and a lot more on all of our video, and soon to be, as soon as Milton and them teach us how to load it up onto Apple and Spotify, it'll be their audio version as well. The plan is to drop one every Friday, so you can have it for Friday or Saturday on your way to the games, and then do another one that you can have for the drive into work on Monday morning, and then live post-game reaction after every Auburn and Alabama game throughout the season, home and away, all right there on your video and audio platforms. Meanwhile, our resident moviegoer, by the way, I scared him last night. I dropped in to record the podcast last night, and Tyler is still working up here. What was that, about 7:30?
Yeah, probably about 7:30.
I mean, will you be honest? Are you pulling a Rudy? Did somebody leave you a key? You've got a cot. You're living up here?
No, but I should. I'd save so much money on rent.
Hey, we don't have a problem with it. I don't know where you're going to shower.
No shower up here.
I told you it would be cheaper for you to pay us to put you in a shower in up here, and then you'd have to kick Bo out of his office, and we'd make that little room a little New York-sized apartment back there for you. But
1 bedroom.
Yeah, it would be
Bo
kitchenette.
can share with Taylor, right?
It's a flat.
Yeah, but anyway, so Tyler leaves as I start the podcast, and he goes, where do you think he went?
To the movies.
Tyler?
Yeah, to the movies.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he went to the movies and went to get food. I mean, there's only two things he does.
It was a day ending in Y, so he went to the movies, and this happened. So tell us what we're looking at here.
So as I was watching the movie stopped, the lights came on, and we're sitting there in the bright theater for a couple minutes before an employee comes in to tell us that there was a potential bomb threat at the theater.
I'd like him to tell me that a little quicker.
Yeah, I was wondering why we were sitting there for so long, but they asked everyone to evacuate the theater, and so I stepped outside and filmed a short.
Yeah,
man, we used to have bomb threats at our high school all of the time. And I say all the time, that's a little over the top, but I mean, every 3 or 4 months there was a bomb threat.
But after they swept the building and made sure there were no bombs in the theater, I went back in and finished the movie.
Wow, that's brave of you.
What movie?
Ran right back in.
It was a horror movie called The Damned.
Yeah. Tell me, this had to be a line in your short when you reviewed the movie. The only bomb in this theater tonight was the Damned. I give it 2 thumbs down.
It was a pretty solid movie, but I actually couldn't film anything for the movie after I saw it because they were trying to get everybody out of the theater, not let anybody loiter, meander, or lollygag.
Lollygag? You don't want them lollygagging.
Any other lines?
I mean, how many
Durham?
people on a Thursday night were in The Damned?
Yeah. It was you and one other guy?
There were probably 4 or 5 people total.
Yeah.
But usually when I go, I get a whole row to myself. It's nice.
Truthfully, did the employee say, Tyler, would you and these other guys get out of here? There's a bomb threat? Did he call you by name?
No. Now, how many of the employees do know you, and do you see other regulars like you? I know there's not many. But do y'all just give the old nod? Like,
I don't recognize too many regulars, but I would say most of the staff at the one up at the Summit know me.
Hey, Tyler.
So I came across a documentary last night, and it was, and I know you'll know this story, so just bear with me. It was called something where they sold a lifetime pass to movies for like $50 or a year pass. No, I guess it's lifetime because you can now buy them. They're like nostalgic for like $1,000. Do you know what I'm talking about? It went it went really, really south with the movie business. I'll pull it for you.
Because everybody bought them.
Because a lot of people bought them, yeah, and so they're still out there. So if you bought one of these, you can use it for the rest of your life. But people are selling them for like $1,000. But it's either a documentary on Amazon or Max.
Wow, $1,000 is inexpensive.
Well, as many movies as Tyler goes to.
Movie Crash.
That's it. Movie Pass, Movie Crash.
Yeah.
And you've never heard of this?
I've heard of Movie Pass, but I don't know much about it.
Okay.
Okay, so today is January 3rd, Friday, January 3rd.
He's already seen 7 movies.
How many movies have you seen in 2025?
In 2025, just the one for movies released in 2025.
Believe it or not, Dunaway, I think over the last 2 weeks, I probably have seen more movies than Tyler.
Okay. Out of your home?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, in your home. In your home.
In my home. In my home.
In theaters. We're counting in theaters.
So Melton asked me if one of
That's not going to happen.
Melton asked me if one of my New Year's resolutions was to see 10% of the movies that Tyler sees. And I said, well, I'll have to find out how many. No, but I'll have to find out how many movies Tyler has seen. So I asked Tyler, how many movies did you see in the last calendar year?
Okay, keep in mind, I have a problem. 2 years ago, I played 89 rounds of golf. This past year, I was down 15 in rounds of golf to 74 rounds of golf
what
in a
happened?
year. Had a little hip issue along the way.
Oh, yeah, you did. You've been hurt.
So, and people say I'm addicted. I have a problem. How many movies did you see in 2024?
So for new movies released in 2024,
in theater now is what I'm
yes,
talking.
in theater, 133. That's not counting me going to movies repeatedly.
Yeah.
You know, I saw.
What about at home? Do you watch a lot at home?
Not too much. I'm not really at home.
See,
He doesn't have a home.
I'm probably 300 a year at home.
He lives here and in the theater.
Yeah.
No, you do watch a lot of movies in your house.
Yeah, I don't like. I like if it's a big time like Gladiator 2. I went to see Gladiator 2.
Right.
I think that was the last one.
The last one I went is the Maverick, is Top Gun 2.
Nosferatu is on the table tonight.
Honest to goodness, last movie I went to, I saw Tyler. He was going into the theater. I can't even remember.
That's not shocking.
We were going to see that. What's that movie I saw where the guy? I ask this every time I bring this movie up. Ryan Reynolds is the guy. If yeah. And you were going into the theater that night, and Jennifer's like, "Oh, there's Tyler." I was like, "That's the least surprising thing ever to see Tyler going into a theater."
All right, 4 Downs is brought to you by our friends at Slice today. Slice Pizza ready for lunch and dinner.
Yep, 5 locations. Stop in for lunch or dinner. You can get a slice and a salad. They've got a specialty slice every single day, multiple of those. You can go online, slicebirmingham.com. Great selection of beer, fantastic pizza from the Soul Pie, the Bajaya Special, Wing and a Prayer. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
So, who wins next national championship first, Kirby Smart or a first-time SEC coach?
Does Sark count as a first-time SEC coach? This is so knee-jerk, Brown, but it felt like the end of Kirby Smart's time last night as far as being the dominant force in college football.
I'm not going to go into time for Kirby, but I am going to play the field here. I think I'll take the field of SEC football coaches.
Well, let's look around. I mean, obviously, you've got Steve Sarkisian, who will be right there in the mix. Kalen DeBoer, say what you want. Brian Kelly, say what you want. Who are other guys? Lane Kiffin?
Lane Kiffin, I'll put him in the conversation. I would I put Mike Elko in the conversation?
I don't know.
And nobody's ever done it.
Would I put Josh Heupel in the conversation?
Billy Napier, Josh Heupel. I mean, those they sound far-fetched, don't they?
It does. It sounds like it's Sark versus Kirby.
I mean, you don't put DeBoer in there?
I would, yeah. But right now, it sounds like Sark versus Kirby because Sark has a shot this year.
I'm buying schools as much as I'm buying coaches. So, yeah, I put DeBoer in there. You know, same reason I put Brian Kelly in there. I mean, everybody has won it at LSU since Nick Saban. Brian Kelly's either going to do that or he's going to get fired and they'll get you guys.
I think I would play the field as well. Like, I don't know how good Georgia's going to be next year.
Yeah. Another great recruiting class. I just don't know what their skill position looks like. He probably needs to attack the portal with some receivers. And
he did with Dominic Lovett and just didn't really work out.
Yeah.
Second down.
Eli Manning, 44 today. Ultimately better career, Eli Manning or Jaden Daniels?
Oh, Eli Manning. I like what Jaden Daniels has done, but he's done it as a rookie. The difficulty is following that up year after year. I've seen the completed Eli Manning. He's won 2 Super Bowls. The odds show you Jaden Daniels won't even play in a Super Bowl, much less win 2.
I would go Jaden. Jaden's much more talented than Eli.
Yeah, you've never liked Eli.
It's not that I don't like him.
Well, not as a person. You've never liked him as a quarterback. You've always diminished what he did.
I think the last name, look, one of those runs in the playoffs was amazing. It was Joe Flacco-ish. But that's Eli Manning to me is more Joe Flacco. I think Jaden Daniels, a guy that's already won a Heisman Trophy, he's going to be your Rookie of the Year. He's already got the Commanders to their most wins since, do you guys realize this? 1991 when Mark Rippon won an MVP and won a Super Bowl.
People, I mean, when you talk to younger NFL fans and they're like, "Why are you a Dolphins fan?" I was like, "Well, yeah, I'll tell them why." And I was like, "I really didn't like the powerhouse NFC teams growing up, Dallas and the Giants and the Redskins." They're like, "The Redskins? Oh God, the Redskins, the '80s and early '90s were a power."
Power.
And they have not been that in a very long time.
And that's what, and this is a new regime. Like the organization has been scrubbed. And I think what they're building right there with Dan Quinn and with Jaden Daniels, I think ultimately they're going to win a championship. And I think one championship's all it will take.
And the new owner has all the money and wants to spend it on the football team. In fact, wants to build a new stadium. So, but I'm going to go Eli Manning. I don't think he'll win 2, and I respect what Eli Manning did.
Let me ask you guys
the Hall
this.
of Fame will too.
If Jaden Daniels won 1, will that equal it?
See, you've already started off grading Jaden Daniels on a curve. Most wins since Redskins 1991. I mean, you got to grade him by the greatness of the NFL, because that's what you grade Eli Manning by. You don't grade Eli Manning on a curve on how dysfunctional the Giants organization was for his career.
No, but the Giants organization was great. That's one of the reasons he won. Remember, his dad pouted and made sure that he didn't go to the Chargers, where he'd go to a good organization. The Giants are a shit organization now. They used to be one of the best organizations in all of football.
Not when Eli was there. It was a roller coaster.
They had the best defensive line in all of football.
Yeah.
It wasn't Eli Manning that won those championships for him. It was that defensive line.
He made some big throws in Green Bay,
he had
that frozen tundra.
Yeah, had a ball that stuck off a dude's helmet.
Yeah, it was a good throw. Great scramble by Eli.
Had to get it to him somehow.
He had to get out of that sack that the great offensive line allowed. Avoided that and threw it downfield. Eli Manning for me.
Third down.
Mel Gibson, 69 today. Better career, Mel Gibson or Mel Brooks?
Mel Brooks. Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
Spaceballs. Young Frankenstein.
You're going Mel Brooks?
History of the World.
I love Young Frankenstein.
Well, yeah, you love those movies, but let's be
very, very unique,
be objective
and
here.
very impactful. But
Mel Gibson blows him out of the water.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
But objectivity is sometimes not our strong suit here. We like personal taste over objectivity sometimes.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Mel Brooks never lost his entire career.
Well, yeah, but Mel Gibson got it back.
It's surprising, though, because Mel Brooks is one of the most controversial. I mean, Mel Brooks can't do the material today that he used to do. Mel Brooks was a groundbreaking guy, but Mel Gibson from...
Well,
look, he won an Academy Award with Braveheart.
The fact that we're going to compare Mel Brooks' work with Braveheart is just absurd.
Oh, I know. And then Passion of the Christ was one of the biggest grossing films of all time. And then, by the way, for a good moment in time, Mel Gibson was the biggest draw as far as a box office
who is in Die
action
Hard?
star.
That was Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. You're thinking of Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon, yeah. A couple of those were pretty good, right? Danny Glover with him.
Oh, those were very good, yeah. I like The Patriot. I know people like to crap on The Patriot, but I like that movie. I think it was very good.
It was okay.
Made me
Heath
cry.
Ledger's in that as well.
Heath Ledger and Mel Gibson, absolutely.
Yeah, made me cry when they locked the doors to the church and let anybody out.
Daddy's Home 2. I never would have seen it because I've never seen Daddy's Home. But Jack got me to watch Daddy's Home 2 a couple of years ago. He's like, it's a great Christmas film. Mel Gibson makes the entire film.
Yeah, Mel Gibson for me.
Yeah, Mel
I
Gibson.
would go Mel Gibson too. But I like Mel Brooks a lot.
Fourth down.
This is going to be more backroom. J.R.R.R. Tolkien. I asked
just two
Taylor.
J.R.R. Tolkien.
I asked Taylor, do you know who this guy is? No idea.
Right.
He would have been 133 today.
Do you know who it is, Jim? J.R.R. Tolkien?
Yeah, he is the writer of The Hobbit.
There we go.
And all those things.
All right.
Yeah, all the Lord of the Rings.
And he was probably in the room when somebody thought of Game of Thrones. And
probably not, actually.
And probably inspired people that came up with all these other stuff.
So he would have been 133 today. If I asked you him or J.K. Rowling?
Tolkien. Tolkien's a much better writer. It's not even close. Now,
and by the way, it is
more successful.
It is 2 R's.
You said 3. You said J.R.R.R. Tolkien or something like that.
Oh, I meant to say 2.
Yeah, there's only 2 R's.
I thought you were doing it as a joke to throw that many R's together.
Well, it's a lot of R's.
It is a lot of R's together. It's confusing. So you say absolutely Tolkien better than who was the other one?
J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling, who did all the Harry Potter stuff.
And I say that as a Harry Potter fan.
But the material's better with Tolkien, right?
Oh, yeah. Tolkien's
more grown up.
A much better writer as far as world building and dialogue goes. He's just so much more skilled.
Did you see the film J.R.R. Tolkien?
No, I've been meaning to watch that. Nicholas Hoult plays Tolkien.
Now,
that kid's getting a lot of work, by the way.
The money the old girl that wrote Harry Potter made, though, is insane.
Yeah, but
money ain't gonna be forever and
She's
ever.
the reason why authors don't get good deals with publishers anymore.
Why?
Because she just made so much money, and then publishers said, "No, we cannot have authors making that much."
So where's
God, how much did they make for the publishers, though? I mean,
I don't know.
That's the typical. We had this conversation recently. You know, somebody that's making a lot of money for a corporation, we're going to cut their pay because they're an earner. Makes no sense.
Yeah, well, how much have they made for your corporation?
Yeah,
like those
it-
Harry Potter books and movies had to make a ton.
Yeah, if you
for
can
the
sell
books.
that many books, so
Yeah.
be it. Hey, so what is the discrepancy on net worth between Tolkien and...
Oh, it's going to be nowhere close. Which one are you looking up,
I don't
Tyler?
know, man.
Which one are you going to look up, Tyler?
Looking up Tolkien right now.
All right, I'll look up...
and she's got to be $1 billion, but he's got to be close.
What's the old girl's name? I keep forgetting it.
J.K.
But when did he die?
Rowling. He
JK
died a long time ago.
Tolkien was estimated to be about 190,000 pounds back in 1973, which
God, I
would
didn't know
be
he was that
equal to
fat.
about $2.5 million. He sold the worldwide rights to all of his stuff for a small amount.
I got...
I wish we would have bought that.
Not even close.
I got Rowling's fortune at 820 million pounds.
Yeah.
Yep.
She made that at one book signing.
Yeah,
Wait,
nowhere
so
close.
he's only worth... I mean, that doesn't make any sense. So it's kind of undisclosed, right?
No, he sold it.
No, he sold it for a very small amount.
No, I get that, but what is it worth now?
Yeah, that's his work. Somebody else had that. Yeah.
But I'm just wondering what the works are worth.
Oh, what is...
I mean, look, he's dead and gone, so it doesn't really matter.
He never saw it.
I'd be pissed if I was that great-grandkid.
What would you call it? His library? What's his library worth?
Catalog?
His catalog.
Lord of the Rings was the rights for Lord of the Rings was bought for $395 million 2 years ago.
Okay.
Wow.
Peter Jackson?
All right, they say his estate...
Embracer Group.
His estate's estimated worth will be nearly $500 million right now.
Okay.
According to this.
That's close.
So, yeah, you'd still go with the old girl.
That's 4 Downs, brought to you by our friends at Slice.
Hey, 5 locations. Stop in. Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park. Newest location in Edgewood. Created by the late Jeff Pajaya. His brothers Jason and Chris continue to celebrate his legacy for lunch or dinner. Stop in today. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
Okay, coming up in the final segment, we will talk about what Greg Sankey thinks the playoffs should look like and could look like even as early as next year. Also, some more college football moving forward, and everyone talking about the death of the SEC. That's a big topic coming up in our next segment. In this segment, before we're done, Jacksonville State has hired Vinny Sunseri as the defensive coordinator, safeties coach at Washington last year. Vinny, of course, a national champion in 2011 and 2012 in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool to see that name there. Obviously, his dad, Sal Sunseri, a very well-respected coach for years. So, Vinny starting as coach. You know, our mutual friend, JT, who worked in radio with us for years, is now at WERC. His son, Michael, who played football at Alabama, Michael Nicewinder, Highway 46 was his nickname. He's been on our show before, followed Rich Rod to West Virginia. So it's cool to see those guys were at Alabama at the same time.
Yeah,
and they're just
man.
kind of trading places.
And, boy, that is a grind.
Oh, it is, man. It is. But he's finally probably going to make some decent money as a on-field. I think he's tight ends and slot receivers coach for Rich Rod.
Yep. Why Notre Dame loves independence. For reaching the semifinals, they pick up $14 million so far in the playoffs. That is $14 million they get to share with how many people, Brown?
That'd be 0. They keep it all.
Yep. Texas, for reaching the semifinals, has made $14 million. That is evenly divided between 16 teams.
And the SEC.
It's less than $1 million, by the way.
I think the home office gets their cut too, Jimmy.
Ohio State and Penn State has made $28 million, divided somehow, maybe equally, between the Big Ten.
Yeah.
So independence paying off for Notre Dame when they win.
By the way, if we ever thought Notre Dame was going to join a conference after this potential run, is it ever going to happen?
Nope.
I mean, why would it now?
It's weird. You know, my wife asked me yesterday, she goes, so what conference is Notre Dame in? I was like, well, they're independent. She goes, they're not in a conference? I said, no. She goes, why would you not want to be in a conference? And I was like, well, it's kind of hard to explain, honestly. I said, but they've always valued it.
But only Notre Dame can do it.
Yeah, I was like, they've always valued it. Well, why do they value that? I was like, I really don't know. They just kind of like to be the one.
You got to give Jack Swarbrick a lot of credit, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because, that's a name that's been hovering out there for a long time, and he's slowly built this, and it seemed like he lost. Oh, damn, you lose Brian Kelly, this thing's going to go backwards.
Boom.
You get an unknown head coach.
Barely miss a beat.
Wow.
Before we get to the top of the hour, though, the most amazing story, a revision surgery for Kurtis Rourke, the quarterback of Indiana, because apparently he retore his ACL in August and played the entire season with a partially torn ACL. You saw the brace as he played throughout the year. So there's Rourke, who's having to have what is called a revision surgery on his torn ACL. and he retore it partially in August and played the entire season on it.
I love hearing these stories of these guys that are so tough they don't even talk about it. His eligibility's got to be out, though, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think he's done.
I mean, 5 years at Ohio, 1 year at Indiana, it's got to be done. I am so fascinated, and this might sound weird to you guys, at what the preseason top 25 is going to look like next year.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Just because you got, what do you do with Arizona State and Boise and Indiana and teams like Alabama?
Yeah.
Like Florida State. I mean, it's USC. It's going to be wild.
Yeah, it is, but you sort of have to try to, which is even harder now with the portal, trying to evaluate the roster that you have coming in, which is why Indiana wasn't in it and stuff. I mean,
who will be number one? I mean, if you just had to guess. Like you used to be able to roll it out there. It's either Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, or Georgia.
Yep. It's a great topic. Top of the hour here. We can do it on the other side if you want to keep doing it. We can do it when the season's over. We'll do it a couple of times before we get to the August rankings coming out. A lot of parity right now. We've got a Final Four that, according to LT, has no SEC teams in it. According to the people who are dividing up the $14 million check, Texas, damn good SEC team, still alive in the Final Four. We'll talk about the death of the SEC, according to national pundits on the other side. The show being brought to you by our friends at MyBookie.ag, Brownie, MyBookie.ag.
Code next round at MyBookie.ag, where you can play all these games we are talking about. The basketball games will be up tomorrow. I mentioned Kentucky, a 2-point favorite in one of the look-ahead games there tomorrow as they take on the Florida Gators. In these college football playoff games, Notre Dame, a 1.5-point favorite at Penn State. Ohio State, a 6-point favorite as they play Texas. I say at, obviously. Penn State, consider the home team in that game. All right, you can play all those games at mybookie.ag, all the college games tomorrow as well. When you sign on, use code NEXTROUND, mybookie.ag, code NEXTROUND, if you want the sportsbook bonus. That's going to be a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000 to use in the sportsbook. 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. If you still want the casino bonus, code TNR Casino. Code TNR Casino to get the bonus there. That is a 300% bonus up to $2,000. All those games, all the casino action right there in mybookie.ag. Code next round. MyBookie.ag, code next round, or code TNR Casino. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag, code next round, and code TNR Casino.
Follow the Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA certified Angus prime rib roast, beef tenderloins, and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by their professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete. Visit one of their 2 locations today in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, CoverCrimson.com and TheBarnAuburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or TheBarnAuburn.com. Sign up today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, e.g., that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, CoverCrimson.com and TheBarnAuburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or TheBarnAuburn.com. Sign up today.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1? Find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2? Stream it now. Miss Hour 3? Download it for later. Miss Hour 4? Well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, final hour of the show, always brought to you by the great man Sterling and the fine folks at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, champyschicken.com on Highway 119 in Alabaster. Open for lunch about 5 minutes ago. You can swing by there and enjoy deep southern fried chicken cooked to order, always piping hot when it comes out. All the wonderful sides, the Mississippi Delta recipe, tamales, and so much more. champyschicken.com, the website, and you can go by and see them in the store. They've been in for over 10 years. The great location on Highway 119 in Alabaster. By the way, tomorrow starts SEC play. Don't be shocked when you get back from brunch and Florida and Kentucky's already playing. They play at 10 a.m. on ESPN, 11 local time. They're in Lexington at Rupp Arena. Florida and Kentucky, a top 10 matchup there. Georgia and Ole Miss go at 11 on the SEC network. Right after Florida and Kentucky on ESPN at 12 noon is Arkansas and Tennessee, another great SEC matchup. Missouri and Auburn play at 3 o'clock on the SEC network. Then unbeaten Oklahoma plays Alabama at 5 o'clock on the SEC network. And then Texas plays Texas A&M in College Station at 7 o'clock on the SEC network. So when they joined the league, you had right there at the same time, you had them both. They said, okay, Texas, your first football game's got to go to College Station. Your first conference basketball game's got to go to College Station.
And you know what Texas is saying? We're in the college football playoff. We don't really care.
Yeah, so that ended up happening.
Boy, I mean, they teed it up for A&M, though.
I mean, how bad does A&M just hate everything?
Yeah, there's nobody bigger for Ohio State outside of Columbus.
So not only Texas year one rolls in, they beat you on your home field for the first time in 12 years. They play for an SEC championship, and now they're in the semifinals of the college football playoff.
That's amazing.
Probably will take it out on them in basketball tomorrow night on the SEC network. All right, so that's the basketball that's starting tomorrow. Let's get back and put a wraps on everyone but Texas and the SEC football schedule. You ended up having Ole Miss last night beat QB2-led Duke down in the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl. And in that contest afterwards, Lane Kiffin and Jackson Dart at the podium about wanting to make a statement against a 9-win team that took SMU to overtime. Yes, still upset about not being in the playoff. Here's Lane Kiffin.
I know our guys talked a lot over the course of, the month, especially the last week, of making a statement, feeling, they were left out of the playoffs, and so they really wanted to make a statement against an ACC team that had two teams in the playoffs, and a team that they looked at it that had taken SMU to overtime, I think. So Proud of the way that they played. They really, we screwed up with the fake field goal early, but outside of that, just completely dominated a 9-win team on offense and defense.
I think that when you go into something, you always want to make sure that you have no regrets about it. And I just saw it as another opportunity to go win a game, go win 10 games this year. We felt like we got snubbed from the playoff. And, when we saw who we were playing, like this was the same team that, took SMU to overtime. So I think we all just wanted to, make a statement that we should have been in there.
Actually, it's not even really close to the same team that took SMU to overtime.
No, with
the transfer portal has eliminated a lot of those guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I would say this. I don't know that you can say that anything that you do right now in a bowl game is going to show, oh, wait a minute, we got robbed. The SEC should have. In fact, if anything, the playoffs has shown maybe the SEC got the right amount of teams in. And I'm also not going to say that the way Alabama played against Michigan or the way South Carolina played against Illinois shows that they didn't deserve to belong. You can't make that statement either, right? I know a lot of people did that, like, well, Alabama shows they didn't belong. No, they didn't. They were playing in an exhibition, meaningless bowl game. I'm not going to say that about them.
Including SMU fighting for that 12th spot. They all had blemishes, and none of them had an argument once they got shot out. I can't believe Lane Kiffin is still bitching. Well, I can. Jackson Dart, let me ask you guys this. Like, what do you guys see at the next level for Jackson Dart? Looking, his first year at USC was 2021, and then he transferred out in 2022 to Ole Miss. So he's played 4 full years, so there's no COVID year there.
He is, according to Lane Kiffin, and I don't know, it's hard to tell if Lane is joking or not joking, but he said last night that Jackson Dart is exploring trying to follow the path of Diego Pavia, even though he didn't play in junior college, to see if he can get another year.
Yeah, I don't think Jackson Dart, I think he's a really good college quarterback, and he's really good in this system, obviously. But I don't think he is going to be a guy week in, week out is going to be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
He's Matt Corral.
Maybe a little bit better.
I think he's better than Matt Corral, but I see your comparison. It's not a terrible one.
But if I'm Jackson Dart, if I can make $1.5, $2 million a year for however long they'll keep me at this level.
You think he has fun in Oxford?
Well, I know he has fun in Oxford. I bet like that eye paint, the Braveheart.
Yeah.
He probably wears that out to the library.
I mean, I think Jackson Dart has got it pretty good in Oxford, and he's a guy that is his NFL stock going to be any better or worse after playing another year?
No.
I mean, he's played a lot of football.
Possibly better.
Maybe better.
Yeah, I mean, it can't get any worse outside of some kind of catastrophic injury. Like, he is...
Even then, at least you're compensated.
A really, really good college quarterback, and that's what I was just wondering why we haven't had any of these Diego Pavia talks.
Yeah, no, Lane mentioned it last night, and again, hard to tell if he was just taking a shot at Diego Pavia and the NCAA for allowing Pavia to continue to play, but he says he's going to pursue to see if he can find another year of eligibility if they would allow him a 5th year.
Do you guys have a problem with this? I don't know how I feel. Like, I don't know if I want to see 30-year-olds playing college football.
It really doesn't bother me. If they can't play in the NFL, I don't have a problem with them playing in college as long as I enjoy watching them and the games are good. I don't care if they're 30, 40, 12, or 15. Doesn't matter to me.
I cheer for the uniforms and the name on the jerseys. That's who I cheer for, and that's why spring football doesn't work to the degree that college football does or other leagues other than the NFL is because we cheer for uniforms.
I mean, we get used to everything. I'm used to a 26-year-old dude that went on a mission for 3 years to Brazil that quarterbacks for BYU. I'm used to a 31-year-old Australian rules punter that's punting for LSU, but it's going to be weird if we've got a quarterback. He's in his 11th year.
Here's what I believe you're going to get. You're going to do away with the whole red shirting idea, and I think eventually you're going to just have the NCAA say you get 5 years.
Well, that's what John Rothstein
or you get 6 years.
Yeah, John Rothstein is reporting that today. I can pull up the report real quick that the NCAA is considering. I'll read it. The NCAA from John Rothstein is considering allowing 5 years of eligibility for players in all sports moving forward. The topic will continue to be discussed early 2025, which I've always been for this. I'm like, why do we have a red shirt? Just give them 5 years. You play 5 years, you don't red shirt, you get 5 years, that's it.
We're probably a bad example, but I mean, collectively, I think it all took us. I mean, it took me 5 years and a semester to graduate college.
Oh, I was there 6 and didn't finish.
Same for me, 5.5, 6.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's kind of normal. Maybe 6 is the number.
Yeah. There can be unlimited as far as I'm concerned, but also on the flip side of that, I think Jeremiah Smith should be allowed to go to the NFL.
I do too.
And I know there's a collective bargaining agreement.
That's the thing. The NFL is the one that limits that.
That's right.
That is, yeah.
It is negotiated by the NFLPA to really protect veteran players, to not eliminate them losing their jobs.
Yeah, if you're Mike Williams with Pittsburgh right now, and you've had a really good career from the Chargers to now the Steelers, and you're one of these guys that probably is going to demand $6-7 million, do you really want these guys being able to come in immediately, or do you want to stretch it out another 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, so that's the NFLPA is protecting its union with this. It's negotiated collective bargaining, but at some point you hold the power as the U.S. government. You allow the NFL to have this, what's it called, where it's an antitrust agreement. What is it? Yeah. They have some kind of tax exemption or whatever they have.
Because you said yesterday you did not think it would stand up in court. So you think a court would overturn a collectively bargained agreement to let Jeremiah Smith play?
I don't know, Brown. I'm not as smart as you when it comes to that stuff.
Well,
I said it yesterday.
I honestly think
yes, I think he should be allowed to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would overturn the collective bargaining. I know they have the strings, the U.S. government does, to force them to do a lot of things that they have exemptions from, because of whatever they worked out. That's why the NFL can't play on Fridays or Saturdays a certain time of the year, because of to get their agreement with the federal government. The government put in you can't play on Saturdays until after college football is over.
Look, I really think
that was back in the 60s.
Look, I mean, there's only 1 or 2 guys per year that might be able to make that transition, that would be drafted high enough where it makes sense for them to leave college football. I almost think it almost should go to an arbitrator. And like if you think that you are worthy of a first-round selection and you want to come out, then they sit down and they really evaluate you. If Jeremiah Smith came out, he would be greenlit.
Yep.
There is no chance he falls past top 5.
And this isn't new. Herschel Walker could have gone after year 1. Bo Jackson could have gone
Julio
after year 1.
Jones could have gone after.
Yeah.
There's only again, it might even be every 2 or 3 years you get one of these guys. But I think if those guys come up and if they really want to go, they should be able to go.
And we allow it in the NBA and Major League Baseball. So that's where, when you get into the court of law and you start.
Well, we don't in MLB if they sign.
Collective bargaining argument's going to become really intense at some point, and probably would go all the way to the high court.
But MLB doesn't if you actually, sign with a D1 school.
Yeah, there are times you can get out of that.
Yeah, you got to play 3 years, right? If you
can go after
your
first
go after
year.
your freshman year, you got to play 2 more years.
Now,
after your freshman and after your junior.
And I'm just asking out loud: is this a hard fast? I know it's players' union, but is it tied to college football? Like if a guy.
It's not an NCAA choice.
No,
NCAA can't.
Because I was going to say, if a guy like Jeremiah Smith was like, you know what, I'm just not going to play my freshman year.
The problem with him is it's a court case that would probably last forever. By the time it got ruled on, he could have just played his college career and gone to the NFL.
Yeah, it would take somebody breaking down the door like they did for free agency in Major League Baseball and in the NFL. Okay, back to the games that we just saw in the national narrative on the SEC after we tell you about our friends at New Life Art, a chance to pick up that great gift, the legend, Nick Saban, 6 national championships, DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com, Daniel A. Moore Painting the Legend, a tribute to Coach Nick Saban and his 6 national championships. You can pick that up and a lot of other great pieces of athletic work there at DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com, and also, Brownie, our friends at mybookie.ag.
Yeah, code next round for that sports book bonus at mybookie.ag. Code TNR Casino if you still want the casino bonus. Told you earlier, Notre Dame, Penn State down in the orange. That is a Thursday night game. 1 week from last night, they are a 1.5 favorite over Penn State. Ohio State and Texas, that is a week from tonight in the Cotton. Ohio State a 6-point favorite over the Texas Longhorns in that one. There'll be college basketball games up tomorrow. Not a ton of lines out on those yet, but you can right now at mybookie.ag if you desire. Actually, I take that back. We've got some numbers that just popped up. Florida and Kentucky, I was going to tell you. Kentucky a 2-point favorite. They do have a actual number up on the Alabama-Oklahoma game. Fuhrman had told us he thought maybe it'd come somewhere around 8.5, didn't he say?
Yeah, LT said it would be 7 to 8.
Right now at mybookie.ag, you can play Alabama as a 10.5-point favorite.
That's a big number.
Over the undefeated Oklahoma Sooners.
Yeah.
That is a big number.
And again, it's not like bad out of conference. They have beaten Arizona and Michigan. They've beaten some quality
As
opponents.
Fuhrman said, they just haven't played true road games, really.
Yeah, they beat good names that maybe aren't up to their normal status. They've beaten, I think they beat Louisville.
They beat
Arizona,
Louisville.
Michigan, Georgia Tech, Northwestern. Some really good name brands that just aren't up to their normal brand.
Yeah, Tennessee, a 12-point favorite over Arkansas and Knoxville. And Texas A&M, a 6.5-point home favorite over Texas. No number up on the Auburn-Missouri game, though Fuhrman told us that'd be somewhere around 2 touchdowns. All those games right there at mybookie.ag. Code next round for the 50% deposit bonus in the sports book up to $1,000. And then over in the casino, if you use code TNR Casino, you get a 300% casino bonus, 300% bonus on your deposit up to $2,000. That's all right there in mybookie.ag. Code next round for the sportsbook bonus. Code TNR Casino for the casino bonus at mybookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. Mybookie.ag.
It's everywhere this morning. You open up your tablet, your phone, and you start searching college football and the sites you go to read about college football. People pointing out, by margin of victory, Indiana played Ohio State, and Indiana played Notre Dame. They all played them closer than Tennessee and Georgia did.
Yeah,
Indiana did.
That's bull on the Indiana-Notre Dame. If you watch it, I know point spread was a 10-point game.
Yeah.
But if you watch that game, was that a 10-point game? And Notre Dame, Georgia, you watched that game.
But again, Love ripped off a 98-yard. I mean, Indiana was better than we give them credit for.
They were.
And that's the point of that.
Yeah, I mean, the Ohio State game came down to special teams. Without those two blunders, it's a lot tighter.
Yeah. That's just a jumping off point to what folks like CBS Sports are saying, how the Big Ten has passed the ACC as the dominant college football conference. They are the reigning national champion in Michigan, and right now the betting favorite to win it again with Ohio State, with Penn State also in the Final Four. And then Brett McMurphy points out that it was 13 national championships in 17 years from 2006 to 2022 for the SEC. And now you could be going back-to-back years without an SEC team winning the championship. Texas is packed up. They're buried and dead, man, according to everybody nationally. Either that or they're all forgetting they're in the SEC.
Well, I think they know that Sark's coaching. I mean, look, Sark almost blew a 16-point lead to Arizona State in a fourth quarter.
Boy, it's quick how we've turned on Ryan Day back to him being a really good coach now, right?
Yep.
I mean.
And the reason why this is being pointed out is because they believe the transfer portal and the NIL, reading in these stories, the transfer portal and the NIL has now opened the door to negate the southern region of the country geographically having the advantage anymore. That because of the footprint of where the best recruits are, it was in the Southeastern Conference and a lot of the ACC schools, that the transfer portal and the NIL being able to pay the players has allowed them to dip into this geographical region and pull off of the roster and pull them to Midwestern and Eastern schools.
Yeah.
And that the South dominance over college football is over.
I think you'll still see your recruiting classes are going to sign with your traditional SECs. And I do think climate has something to do with that. I mean, next week we are going to be in Big Ten weather. I don't want to live in that. A lot of these 18, 19, 20-year-olds don't. But when they come to a Florida or a Georgia and they're not playing, and then they get offered a lot of money to go play at a Michigan or Notre Dame, then it's an obvious choice.
I mean, I do think we need to see this a little bit longer to know if that's true, but it does feel true that I don't think there's any doubt the transfer portal has leveled the field. Is it leveling the field because Southern players aren't always staying at the Southern schools? Maybe so. I think we'll need more time on that. But it's 100% that the transfer portal has leveled the field.
Now,
it's given Indiana a chance to get good overnight.
It is
good enough to be in a
interesting.
college football playoff.
If Texas does win, they are going to be favored over, I agree with what I asked Fuhrman, over either Notre Dame or Penn State. if Texas wins this national championship, where's this argument now?
Yeah, it ends.
Yeah.
It ends. But people that want to be negative about the SEC will write, Texas was just added to the SEC, to technically not really an SEC team.
Yeah, I mean,
it was like a Big 12 team.
That's kind of where I lean. It was kind of one of these, what do we call them?
Carpetbaggers?
No, a 1 year, an introductory.
Yeah.
One-hit wonder?
No, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Their first year in, they're really not in the league. They're sort of transition year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when we have teams that enter, new conferences, like a James Madison, and you can't play for your conference championship.
Yeah, had sort of their
They're provisional.
Provisional. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Right. Finally got there.
Yeah.
So you guys aren't buying the SEC is dead?
No, God, no.
No, because it's going to be the SEC or Big Ten every year. Like,
Yeah.
you tell me when a Big 12 or an ACC team is going to win a national championship with the current setup. Like, it used to be a TCU, you win one game, and then you've got a one-game situation. Now you've got to win these multiple games, and I just don't think anybody outside of the SEC or the Big Ten is going to be able to do it. So I think every other year it's just going to be those conferences going back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, like the ACC got 2 in, and they weren't even particularly close.
No.
And now in an expanded playoff, they'll get 2 in more, but in a 12-team playoff, how often are they going to get 2 in? Probably less often than more, and they weren't even close, having gotten 2 in.
There's a chance to rearrange the way we do the college football playoff, still with 12 teams for 2025, without really having to go through a lot of hoops. Greg Sankey hopes they all decide to do this. He says he's still okay, Greg Sankey, talking to reporters in New Orleans, still okay with the top 4 conference champions getting a bye, but only if, after the first round, you're reseeded for the second round, and then you carry on out semifinals and on.
Just like the NFL.
Just like the NFL.
Do you have what that would have looked like? You don't have that in front of you?
I can do it for you quickly.
You can do it on your top of your head if you want.
Here we go.
You would have still had to buy Boise and Arizona State and Georgia and Oregon would have still been out. Oregon would have still been number 1 most likely. I don't know where Georgia would have fit in. I think you would have ended up having a Boise, Arizona State first-round game. I think it would have worked out about like that. Or maybe it would have been a Penn State, Arizona State situation. Anyway, Sankey says, I'm okay letting the 4 highest-seeded conference champions not play in the first round, but only if you reseed after the first-round games. To where at that point, the committee would rank 1 through 8, the 8 teams left. 1 would get 8, 2, 7, 3, 6,
So
4,
SMU
5.
would have been, well, I guess they would have played in the first round.
So the committee re-ranks after that?
It would be a reseeding after the first round.
Okay, so they reseed,
Yeah, reseed after the first round. Oregon and all them would have still got their bye. But now we reseed for round number 2, the round we just saw.
So it's not just that like Oregon is the 1 seed gets the lowest remaining seed. You seed 1 through 8 again.
I actually think
Oregon
the easiest way to do this, let's just say we go 16, which I think we will. I think once you get the 16, that field, then we seed that out, and then you just let it play forward, much like basketball.
But you don't reseed it like they do in the NFL.
No. But I think once you seed it, the problem with the NFL is you've got these divisional winners and you've got these buys, much like you've got right here.
Right.
So you could do it that way, but I think the cleanest way to do it is just to seed it 1 through 16.
But, I mean, right now you look at this, we didn't know it at the time. We thought maybe it was Texas, but it actually is Penn State that's got the easily road in this whole thing.
Oh, not even close.
And they were the 6th seed.
Yep.
Yeah.
How do you have a setup where the 6th seed gets easily the easiest road?
And Ohio State is going to, you talking about somebody that's going to earn it if they win this thing?
Yeah, they've had a tough road.
Damn.
They have plowed through it.
Yeah.
I mean, Oregon got maybe the toughest draw because they had to play Ohio State.
As the 1 overall seed.
As the number 1 overall
in
seed.
In a rematch.
Yeah, and Penn State in their own conference. A Big Ten team in their own conference got by far and away the easiest.
Yeah, and I think Notre Dame's had a tough draw. A 7th seed right behind Penn State.
Yeah, I mean, had to play Indiana and Georgia. I mean, Penn State, my gosh, to be able to play SMU at home and then get Boise.
I mean, Texas has had a pretty easy draw.
We thought that. They went to double overtime. Maybe that just says more about Texas than the Texas actual draw. Hey, it gets real now.
It does.
Yeah.
It's not easy anymore.
Yeah. Nobody's giving them a shot.
Yeah.
That's what Greg Sankey says about realignment. But he says he's had no discussions with the other commissioners or Notre Dame's athletic director. He hopes that turns around soon. He hopes they're open for discussion.
You seem like you still are giving Texas a shot, which no problem with that.
Well, they're going to play the game.
No, I get it. But like gun to head, if you had to go 1 through 4 to win a national championship.
I'm pretty sure I picked Ohio State in August.
Well, it's different in August and now because we redid our brackets. I was the only one that picked Ohio State.
You didn't have them the second go around.
We redid our brackets.
I didn't pick Ohio State to win it all?
So. No.
Oh, we got our updated brackets.
No.
We don't have our updated brackets. I thought I picked Ohio State to win them all.
No. I was the only, because I was like, and you remember me pointing this out. There is a glaring, nobody has Ohio State winning more than a game. So, like, to me, it was like 8 of us picked this, and I was the only one that had Ohio State beating Oregon.
Yeah. Whew. That was a mistake on my part. I had two big teams playing for the national championship, so this was mine. So I had Texas beating Ohio State. Check with me next Friday or Saturday. When's that game? Friday?
That is.
Check back with me next Friday.
No, but I'm serious. Gun to head right now with these 4 teams. I mean, I think we'd all go Ohio State, right? I'm not going to change that.
No, Ohio State's the best team out there right now.
So that's the team you would take.
Reed says Brown still has all 4 of his teams still in.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had Notre Dame beating Georgia.
And that was
I had Notre Dame beating Georgia.
That was my big dilemma was Notre Dame.
Why Notre Dame beating Georgia, Scott?
Hey,
Who do I have?
You've got Oregon in the Final Four.
Well, that's a problem.
Yeah. Well, they didn't show up, Brown.
That's a problem right there, Scott, is what we say.
Yeah.
Well, I still got Texas.
But, I mean, if you had to.
Right now, you haven't got any on that side of the bracket, right?
Well, I mean, that's just one quarter of the bracket.
What would you change right now? Anything?
Well, I certainly wish I had Ohio State, Lance. I mean, I had Tennessee beating them. Was that particularly close?
No.
Yeah. That's the only thing I would change.
You just lost one quarter of the bracket, or as we like to call it, how you end up in Malwai, Nebraska.
Oh, I've lost a quarter of the bracket before, trust me.
Oh, me too. Last year in basketball.
But I think I would go Ohio State 1, Notre Dame 2. I think I would go Penn State 3 based on path. No, Penn State can't win this thing.
Just on
I would
quality,
take Texas before.
On quality of football teams, with the 4 teams left after seeing them play, I would rank Ohio State 1, Notre Dame 2, Texas 3, Penn State 4.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah,
That's
I probably
exactly
would too.
the way I would
right there
rank
with
them.
you. Yep.
Now they got to go play the game again.
Hey, and there's not an elite quarterback left. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, there's not.
No, you're absolutely right about that.
I mean, there's really good quarterbacks. Like Ewers can be really
well,
good, but
Will Howard's playing elite football, but he has not been an elite quarterback.
But he's not an elite quarterback.
He has been the last 2 games.
Drew Aller has gotten a lot better, but he's not an elite quarterback. And obviously, Riley Leonard's a gritty, tough kid that can run the football, but he's not an elite quarterback.
Isn't it crazy how good Will Howard and Drew Aller looks when they let him throw it downfield?
Yeah,
to their great receivers.
I did
how
not.
Ohio State didn't play like they played in the playoffs all season long is mind-boggling.
Yeah, or just against Michigan.
No, if they play, I mean, look,
they run Michigan out of the stadium if they play that way.
Yeah, look, and they hit Oregon. That game was in Autzen. It was a great game. Give them that pass, but if you go back and you play that Michigan game and they played like they did in this first couple of rounds, just calling plays like that, they win the game by double digits.
Jeremy Bernard was wide open all day against Michigan. You mean tell me Jeremiah Smith wasn't?
Yeah.
I mean, Jeremy Bernard could have had 8 touchdowns against Michigan in the bowl game.
Just at one point, a DB is going to get nervous and grab hold and just pass interfere to keep from it being a 60-yard touchdown, and it's going to give you a first down and keep moving it down the field.
I'll be honest, I did not realize that Will Howard could throw a deep ball like that.
He does throw a pretty one, doesn't he?
Watching him at Kansas State, I thought he was a good quarterback, more like a Riley Leonard, not a guy that could play from behind. But some of those throws that he made this past weekend against Oregon, wow.
Again, a cold spell coming. Hemphill is there to serve you. Tell us about Hemphill. We'll do trash and some other college football conversations. Brownie will re-up our conversation about the firing in Tuscaloosa of a defensive assistant coach coming up on the other side as well. LT.
I've been working the phones with Andrew today. Hemphill is on the way to my former mother-in-law's house right now. Then they are going to my ex-wife's house.
Do they have any other clients?
We keep them in business. But, hey, look, just great guys. Trust the name. Birmingham has trust since 1954. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues, if any of these arise in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. 205-229-2090. Tell them the next round sent you. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Follow LT on Twitter @TheLanceTaylor.
Man, I love a good meal.
I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there. Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Back with you on the Next Round. We'll get to trash here in just a second. A couple other things that are going on in Tuscaloosa. You had a firing earlier today of the safeties coach and a promotion from within to put back at safeties in the co-defensive coordinator, a guy who was that over in Washington, in Seattle, with DeBoer, his 2 years at Washington. So a familiar coach is now, and Chuck Morrell, is now back on the field coaching, getting out of his off-the-field role as DeBoer's top analyst, his top sort of personal assistant to the head coach. Now he's going back on the field and he's the co-defensive coordinator like he was at Washington. It's like Kalen DeBoer is putting that guy back into the mix on the field to sort of get the band back together that he had at Washington, and this could be the first of a couple of moves to do that.
And I think you're going to see this. This is just pure speculation on my part. But coming off a 9-4, look, there's no excuse. I think Alabama fans are upset with that. But Kalen DeBoer has got to get his program going in the right direction. And I know people are going to discount this, and they're going to say he took over what was maybe the greatest situation of all time. It is difficult taking over from the greatest and having to walk kind of on eggshells into how you transition into your program. With that said, Ryan Grubb decided to stay in Seattle. It looks like his days are numbered after this Sunday with the Seahawks. I have got a feeling that you will see Ryan Grubb back in Tuscaloosa or in Tuscaloosa. I guess he was there for a minute. I think the full gang is coming back together. I think there's going to be a place for Nick Sheridan on this staff. I think Sheridan, under the circumstances, did a pretty good job. You had a schizophrenic quarterback. There's no other way to call it. And it wasn't a quarterback that they are used to in their system. But I think Ryan Grubb, ultimately, just my opinion, I think he will come back to this staff, and I think that is a huge get if it does, in fact, happen for Kalen DeBoer in Alabama.
I think the interesting thing with Morrell, and I don't want to read too much into this part of it, but the reports are that he is going to coach linebackers,
right?
Which is what
Kane Womack
was coaching this year. So you wonder if Womack is now just focused on the overall defense. It doesn't have a position group that he's attached to. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where the deck gets shuffled there, because now you've got a safeties job open with the other move that Alabama has made today. And Womack has moved off of linebackers. Does he take over safeties? It'll be interesting to see how all the defensive deck gets shuffled. But I think the net of this, which I find really interesting based on a lot of the conversation this year, is I think as the season went, Alabama fans got far more confidence in Kane Womack and far less confidence in their offensive coaching staff.
Yeah. I would say also keep an eye on Freddie Roach. He was a guy that you had to keep. You wanted to keep him. He's a great recruiter. But he was the one guy you wanted to keep on that coaching staff to sort of help transition over from Nick Saban to Kalen DeBoer. He is a guy that will be sought after by a lot of schools, and sometimes, personality-wise, you don't mesh. He's just one of the guys that keep an eye on Freddie Roach and some people like that who are still there from the Saban era. For year two of a coach, you sometimes get a final washing, if you will, of the previous staff in year two.
Well, while you may never be hired and told you got to keep these guys, sometimes you're hired and you're strongly encouraged to keep these guys.
Or you just sit there and go, it's stupid for me not to keep a great recruiter.
I need somebody that knows where all the closets are here, right?
And plus a guy who can coach some football, and Freddie Roach is that guy. And I'm not saying Freddie would want to leave or Kalen would want him to leave. I'm just saying keep an eye to see if Freddie Roach is part of the coaching staff moving forward. He is a heck of a coach, and will have a home either in Tuscaloosa or somewhere else. So yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, can I also say quickly that we were careful when we did this, but we should have been more careful. We read a tweet earlier from Sidelines Bama, SSN_Bama, that attributed a screenshot to Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. That said his coach had left, thank the Lord. He says, I have reached out to Dre Kirkpatrick, and he tells me he did not send that.
Yeah.
Which Sidelines-Bama, SSN_Alabama probably needs to learn. You reach out on the front side before sending it rather than on the back side.
Yeah, there's one website that, and I don't know which one it is, so I'm not going to say it's that one, but they have become the Onion. What's it called? Is it the Onion?
A parody site?
A parody site where they send out stuff that is nowhere close to true. They've sent some Kalen DeBoer tweets.
And you're not saying that this is Sidelines Bama. You're saying they were tricked perhaps by a site like that.
Well, there is a site. I don't know which one it is, so I'm not going to name it.
Okay, well, those sites are stupid.
Yeah, I've never understood
I kind of like them. I like parody sites. I follow a lot of them. They're fine.
Yeah,
but you got to know you're looking at a parody site.
You were the one that just gave us the Sidelines, the not tweet, though. I mean, that wasn't a tweet, wasn't a real thing.
No, they got it wrong. Yeah. They said they got it wrong. He did not talk to.
Yeah. So I wonder who put that out. I wonder if it was that parody site that they got.
I don't know.
By. I don't like parody sites.
I do. They're fine.
Yeah, I hate them. Let's go to trash. It's brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right. Spin the wheel, man.
I'm here with the winner, Derek Lewis. Derek, why'd you take your pants off? My balls was hot. I understand.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Hey, since day one, our partners here with us, our friends at Mortgage Right, the absolute best in the business. If you are looking for your first home or your final home, our guys are there, no cost or obligation, to tell you what you can qualify for. 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. For more information, mortgageright.com. So in Plus One magazine has a piece that will surely be making the rounds. Netflix execs have been telling their screenwriters to have characters, quote, announce what they're doing so that viewers who have a program on in the background can follow along without having to miss plot strands. There's been barely any pushback on this until now. This is how bad our attention span is in society now.
Mine's pretty bad.
Now, several screenwriters who've worked for the streamer are telling the outlet that a common note from the company's executives is to have characters purposely lay out exposition to the wondering viewer. After all, focusing your time on a 90-minute movie is certainly not an option for the token Netflix viewer. Now, here's an example. They've got a #1 hit movie right now, Irish Wish, starring Lindsay Lohan. Have you seen it, Dunaway?
I have not, no.
Is this the one where she looks real different and everybody's talking about how different she looks than she used to look?
I don't know. Have you seen it, Tyler?
No.
I have not seen it.
My daughter was talking about, she did some movie and she looks completely different. Lindsay Lohan.
She cleaned up off the meth, right?
Well, I guess. I don't know.
That helps. Now, here's an example from that movie. Quote, we spent a day together, Lohan tells her lover James in Irish Wish. I admit it was a beautiful day filled with dramatic vistas and romantic rain. But that doesn't give you the right to question my life choices. Tomorrow I'm marrying Paul Kennedy. Fine, he responds. That will be the last you see of me because this job is over and I'm off to Bolivia to photograph an endangered tree lizard. Now,
that's how it starts.
Netflix apparently also has thousands of micro genres that adhere by the green lighting projects, including casual viewing, which is used for movies/TV that go down best when you're not paying attention.
I don't know. I kind of like this. Had I made the mistake of actually clicking on that movie and that's the way the movie starts, I quickly exit.
Okay, almost every screenwriter adheres by the notion of show don't tell, but Netflix seems to have spat on that rule, now forcing their writers to break it and then some. It's almost miraculous that this was the same streamer who just a few years ago decided to make Roma and The Irishman. The Irishman would not have kept the attention of anyone that was really, really not interested in a Scorsese long film.
Yeah.
Now, the latest news comes just a year after it was reported that Netflix was asking its writers and directors to make sure there's enough drama in the movie's first 5 minutes so the viewer keeps watching and doesn't turn it off. This is why we have shit movies. Because of this, exactly.
Because of the people with a short attention span? Or because we're catering to people?
Yeah, because we're catering to it.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if they've got a short attention span, look, you don't have to watch the movie.
Well, I tell you, I've gotten worse as I've gotten older on this, but a movie has got to hook me very, very early for me to stick around.
Yeah,
I don't give it time to develop.
And here's why, for me, and I don't try to push my thoughts on anybody else, but for me, the Soprano-like shows like that, where you ended up with 45, 50, 55-minute episodes, which basically in my day and time was like almost 2/3 of a movie, but you end up with a 45, 50-minute episode, and then I like those characters, and now it's a series, and every month it's like, or every week it's like watching a 2/3 of a movie about that, and I'm into that series when it became that on HBO, especially those HBO Sunday night shows. That's when my movie interest started to decline and my series interest, HBO series interest, started going up.
Well, because television has this is the golden era of television. It has been for the last decade plus. Television is consistently better than movies now.
Yeah.
So you're essentially saying if you could take a 2-hour movie and convert it into 4 30-minute episodes, you'd prefer the 4 30-minute episodes?
No, I don't want the 30-minute. I like the 50, 55-minute episodes.
30's good for comedy.
Okay, so a 4-hour movie and a 4 1-hour episodes, you would prefer the 4 1-hour episodes?
Yeah.
I think I would too.
I mean, what we're seeing with Sopranos, I just go to that as an example. You know what I'm talking about. Whatever I just watched, it was not fantastic.
You just watched Yellowstone, right?
Yeah, Yellowstone, Bad Monkey. But the first episode ever of Yellowstone, I think it was almost an hour and 50-minute episode.
Yeah, it was a movie itself.
It was a movie in itself.
It was the best episode they've ever had.
And it was their best episode. But those type things, I enjoy more than I do movies now, Milton.
One thing about television that has really benefited it is a low barrier to entry. You can just literally press a button and you start something compared to having to plan it out, purchase tickets, show up physically somewhere.
Yep.
And we're so divided with our attention span right now as a core audience that like it plays to a lot of niches to where, yes, television as a whole may be winning, but you may be watching something completely different than what Lance is watching because the medium is very beneficial to that point, but everyone's on different pages right now when it comes to what we're consuming.
And as we stream things, like I can jump in with Maggie on episode 4 of something, and you know what airs at right before episode 4?
The catch-up.
Yeah. A recap.
I like those.
And now I get a recap, and now I'm up to date. Let's watch it, baby. Let's go.
I didn't watch the recap. I used to when it used to go week to week.
Yeah, I do. Like when Jennifer and I we went back and watched The Americans, and when we were watching The Americans, they did it every week previously on The Americans.
Yeah.
But you know what else it does? It tells you what's about to happen in the next episode. Like if they show a scene, you're like, oh, I need to pay attention because they're about to relive that scene.
I used to like the previews after the episode.
Next time on The Americans.
Now I will just... If I'm looking for a movie, like last night I was looking for one and I came across this movie called The Report. Have you seen The Report?
I have not.
It's basically a deep dive on how we were torturing after the 2001 attacks.
Oh, we were torturing people like waterboarding?
Yeah. Next level. And so there was like internal reports on that and people were getting convicted and stuff.
Oh, it was good?
Yeah, I mean, it was good if you're interested in that. There were some interesting methods.
Yeah. Interesting.
Missouri motorist clocked going 107 miles an hour, told police that he was unaware he was speeding because he was preoccupied playing a video game while he was driving. Dakota Crater, right there, 25 years old, pulled over Friday night, Interstate 35, about 10 miles north of Kansas City. Crater was behind the wheel of a 2023 Nissan Sentra when cited for exceeding the posted 65 mile per hour speed limit. Now, police say that Crater admitted to playing a video game while driving. He is facing speeding and other vehicular charges, scheduled for an April 15th court appearance. Investigators did not quiz Crater as to what game he was playing while driving.
Yeah, now I've seen people reading a book, sitting right here on their steering wheel. I've seen them all the time putting on makeup.
I see people watching TV all the time.
I see people watching something on there.
Yeah.
Video game may be in the next level unless you're playing Madden. You just call your defense real quick and then not move your highlighted player. Just highlight the defensive tackle and if you don't move the stick, then if you don't move the player, the computer's gonna play it anyway. You could just be the play caller at that point. But it's hard to play a video game and drive. Especially if it's a driving video game.
Oh, you get super confused.
Which one
right?
is it real? Which one am I driving now?
Yeah.
Review of the Kansas City resident's TikTok page shows that he's a devotee of My Hero Ultra Rumble, 24-player battle royale. Are you familiar?
I am not familiar with the game, but it sounds like it would be just like an online battle royale style game with all the characters from My Hero Academia, an anime series.
Are we on an 0-for-3 streak with you now?
Yeah.
Last two things you haven't watched and one video game you're not familiar with.
Right.
This is the longest losing streak. It's the longest losing streak
As
in your
we go
career.
into this story, have you ever been to Jack in the Box?
Yes.
Okay.
I personally think you're lying now.
Slump Buster.
I've been once when I was in Tennessee because they don't have any here.
They've got one in Nashville.
Yeah, they do.
Near Vandy. Upper Broadway.
Felt like it was a lie. I felt like it had been more than one if it wasn't a lie.
An unruly Jack in the Box customer got a big surprise after she accosted staffers over a missing curly fry order. She found herself on the receiving end of a beatdown by fed-up workers. I did see this video.
I have too, yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
First of all, I hate personally curly fries.
I'm not a big fan either.
Her personally could skip an order.
I don't mind the curly fry. Footage from the fast food joint believed to be in Spartanburg, South Carolina, according to the Daily Mail, showed a woman in black beanie stomp up to the counter and shouted employees in the kitchen about missing items from her 3 effing combos. Quote, "Do you effing understand me? You owe me 3 curly fries. You left my sister's shit out." She yelled in footage circulating on social media. "Fix my shit or I'll blow this whole mother effer up. Do you effing understand me? Fix it now."
Not going to happen at that point. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
Going
right,
crazy over the worst kind of fry.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, man. If it was waffle fries, I could see you getting this.
Yeah.
If it was skin on,
Okay, you got something now.
Now,
Some of
employees
the
in the
shoestring fries.
Oh, those are the
Good.
best.
Yeah.
In the back could be heard saying that they would get the food, but then the woman started screaming, hurling display signs from the counter at the workers. Once the projectile started flying, the employees advanced. Woman started in on a taunting dance before swiping a slap at one of them. She then picked up a metal object, hurled it at one of the workers, who dodged it, then jumped on the counter, clocked her in the head with a punch. Blow knocked her cap off, sent her staggering. Then an all-out brawl erupted.
Now, let me ask you, did she look in the mirror today and thought she could win this fight?
Oh, dude, that's a middleweight versus a heavyweight. He pulled an upset.
There is no, unless she was going to get into the grappling, get him on the floor.
Oh, wow. Not her best angle right there.
Nope.
Not her best
I'll just
angle.
point out right now that somewhere in the world every day somebody wakes up next to a supermodel and say, man, I'm
right.
so tired of dating the same woman.
You're saying they could have that?
I'm just saying, Brown. For somebody.
That's a lot of love.
It is a lot of love, Tyler.
For somebody, that's the perfect swimsuit issue right
That
there.
is not her Christmas card next year, I'm going to bet.
Good God.
She's filling out those leggings.
I would have instantly called 911. Just pick this lady up real quick.
I love the dude in the
She's
back.
not brandishing a gun. First
No.
off, she's got no. You could tell if she's got a gun in those tights.
Well, it could
Showing
be.
everything.
Yeah.
I love the dude in the back, though, with the Mr. Box sweatshirt on.
Yeah, he's just watching.
Yeah.
What you doing?
Oh, I think he was on the counter. I think he punched her.
You think so?
Yeah.
Finally.
But with her short T-Rex arms, she can't reach him over that counter. It's like the chimpanzee display at the zoo. They can't make it deep enough out in the water to really get out of the zoo. So if they just stand 2 feet back from that counter, she can't get over it.
Finally, Captain Alan Ascar left for St. Augustine in 1977 in his sailboat, planning to reach the Dominican Republic. However, it appears he will return home without his boat. Ascar fought rough waters. It was actually a 1977 boat. It didn't happen in 1977.
I was about to say, that's a long time to be afloat.
Ascar fought rough waters off Florida's coast for nearly 16 hours.
Who's in the SEC?
Now, exhausted, Ascar elected to anchor his boat to rest. Unfortunately, the boat washed ashore at New Smyrna Beach, where it quickly became a local attraction. Now, it could cost between $20,000 and $25,000 to remove the boat, according to Ascar. His solution is to sell the boat for $1. Ascar wrote on Craigslist, quote, "I got beached. We'll pass her in good hands. Very good, strong sailing boat." However, he has listed the condition as, quote, salvage. Very good, reliable boat, very solid construction. It will last another 50 years, even with abuse it's currently taken. Ascar is hoping for a buyer soon. He says he has a total of 30 days from the time of the wreck to remove it, or he could face fines or jail time if he's not to comply.
Well, I'm trying to sell it.
I think he'll get a buck for it.
Oh, is that it right there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, easily.
You'd buy that for $1?
Where's the damage?
Well, probably not in that photo.
You think the hole's on the other side?
Yes. Oh, it looks great. Yeah, she runs just fine.
Let me walk around the other side. No.
No, she runs fine, I promise.
It's $1. That is Trash, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Our friends at Mortgage Right, here to help. Again, no cost or obligation, just to find out what you might qualify for. Veteran owned and operated right here in Birmingham. Speaking of veterans, veteran founded right here in Birmingham. So remember, whether you're looking for your final home, first home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing, 205-900-7200. Tell them the next round sent you. MortgageRight.com for more information.
If you want to go see America do it in an RV from Johnston RV Center, they are getting ready for the 2025 RV shows. As the calendar has flipped, that means they got to get rid of the 24s. So it's a great time to buy. Shasta 16 RE, only $149 a month with approved credit. It's lightweight. Maybe you need something bigger that can sleep up to 10. How about the Avenger 29 QBS? It's just $279 a month with approved credit. Like everything, lifetime warranty on anything new and qualifying pre-owned. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, JohnstonRVCenter.com.
All right, a couple of notes before we're done here. One of them, Illinois last night, a big win for Alabama. They beat one of the teams that beat Alabama, Oregon, in Eugene last night, 109-77. That top 25 matchup was a blowout Illinois road win there.
Lock of the day, by the way.
Great win for Illinois. Tonight you get Michigan State, Ohio State. Auburn demolished Ohio State, but they're still 22 in the KenPom. Still a really good, highly ranked team. Michigan State, Ohio State, 7 o'clock main Fox tonight. Creighton, who Alabama beat, plays Marquette, 8 o'clock FS1 tonight. If you want to watch a little basketball, Louisville beat North Carolina 2 nights ago. Hubert Davis, 8-6 right now, against all really good opponents, but 8-6. There is a Louisville team that's really down on the roster, beat him. this year. Their roster is getting better, though. Louisville's on the up. 5-star point guard Michael Brown picked Louisville over Kentucky and Indiana in that. And finally, I like Tom Fornelli. I'm going to tell you. I like his articles. CBS Sports, I believe, Tom Fornelli.
Okay.
Is that correct?
I really don't know.
I think that's it.
I don't read much of his
I think
work.
it is CBS.
Yeah. But I do see him tweet at some. I can't swear I've read his articles.
Kalen DeBoer will never get particularly close to the Saban era.
Oh,
at
really?
Alabama.
Is that a bold prediction he makes there?
I mean, it's the greatest dynasty of all time.
Dude won 6 national championships.
If he wins 3, it's not particularly close.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Kirby Smart is viewed as the best active coach just based on multiple national championships. If he wins 2.
Yeah.
That's a great career.
So Tom forgot his deadline, right?
Yeah.
And Tom looks up and he's like, oh, my God, I got to get him a column in an hour.
Now, I didn't read the column because of the headline.
Well, you may not write the headline, to be fair.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But sometimes a bad headline makes me not read the column.
No doubt. Yeah.
That headline made me not read the story, and I'm a Tom Fornelli fan. DeBoer will never get particularly close to the Saban era at Alabama.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's a safe prediction.
Yeah. Nobody has gotten close to the Saban era at Alabama anywhere.
How about
Bryant was close?
Yeah, nobody came close to Wooden still.
How about on the less than 1% chance he actually does better than Saban and Fornelli has to live on that column forever from Alabama fans? He's like, I thought I'd written the safest thing I could possibly write.
Yeah, after his 7th national championship, Kalen DeBoer goes, I just want to say a big shout out to Tom Fornelli.
That's right. He doubted me 17 years ago.
I don't know if he's still here. Tom, are you here? Probably not. All right, that's our show. That's our week. If you think it's Tuesday, it's really Friday. We're off tomorrow and Sunday. Back to a normal week on Monday, 9 a.m. Central Time. Don't forget all our basketball coverage at Next Round Live throughout the weekend. Taylor's in Auburn. I'm in Tuscaloosa. LT's got you covered at lanceslock.com, lanceslock.com. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.